Yo, 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 welcome to Living for a Living, episode 53. Today's guest will be a fun one. I've known of this guy since I was like 10 years old, as he was the most dominating Little League baseball player of all time. And we grew up playing against each other in sports, played against each other in the state championship for football. And nowadays, of people I know personally, he's probably killing it the most on social media, whether it be Twitch or TikTok or Instagram, whatever. He's started clothing brands and companies while in high school, out of college, and now is just kind of doing his own thing on the path of just being a content creator for himself while also managing some social media accounts for businesses as well. So he's got an interesting outlook on the way things are going in the social media world these days. Definitely understands how the game is to be played while also being very authentically himself. And that shines through during the podcast. We talk about a little bit of everything from life to social media to sports to video games. I think there's something in there for everybody. So this week's guest, my boy, Rob Tramonte.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
Right now, because I just started back in August, so you're still trying to like make a good impression. There's just still a lot of people that join every single time that are brand new, and the last thing I want is to look like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Dude, but you're killing it so far. I mean, like earlier
Man.
today, like before we hopped on this, I kind of double checked all socials and everything, and like I
Yeah.
remember when you were first starting back up, and you were like, I don't have anybody, and you're at what, like 2,500 subscribers or whatever, I don't
Yeah.
know what the name is on Twitch. I want to get into
It's just
Twitch
fault.
for
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, fuck yeah. I know somebody that does that. I mean, they're literally famous, so it's kind of hard to compare, but
Yeah.
they have like 25,000 people watching their podcast episodes. So I mean, like
Crazy.
people like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's definitely a niche. But yeah, I have a TikTok's been a huge thing. I think I've promoted that a lot. It sounds like a goofy ass app. I think that I've told people this, but I think the name TikTok is such a goofy name. It's definitely being taken more seriously now because there's so many proven success stories and stuff. But the app itself, just the name and the branding and it's known for like the cringy kids and that type of stuff. And people on the outside have no idea that there's this whole other, well, there's several other layers of the app. You know what
For
I mean?
sure.
They think it's just that. And like, why the hell would I be on that? I'm almost 30 years old. Like, why the fuck would I be on TikTok? Like,
No,
why would I ever do that?
you're
But
right,
they don't
though.
understand there's this whole
The,
area that,
the
has nothing to
name,
do
though,
with it.
just does it disjustice. Like,
Yeah, I
Instagram
know.
sounds cool,
Right. No,
or
that's a
maybe
real
it's just
thing, dude.
now. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a real thing. Instagram's a cool name. It's been a cool name for what, like 7, I don't even know how long, 8 years now or whatever it's been out.
Yeah.
But TikTok's just a goofy, its branding is very goofy and childish. So people don't realize until you get a couple of videos that go crazy and you see the results, then you're like, wait a second, this isn't just that stupid dancing stuff. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I started doing that. I started doing that in, what was it, October or late September of 2019 is when I started that.
What made you like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do TikTok?
Dude, I say, I'm gonna fucking do this with pretty much everything.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
when
But
something when so like I've been in the social media world for a long time. I've been helping people with that, and my main career has to do a lot with brand advising and social media management and marketing for I guess my own brand or whatever, but like also for other businesses in town.
okay.
Like for example, the local mall in town, like I run their social media. That's like one of our clients. So like, but no one knows that. I never fucking say that because
Oh,
I never say that.
interesting.
But social media is like my life, dude. And I'm a marketing and advertising guy and whatever. So when a new app comes out or whatever app is out that I'm on, um, I try to, you know, learn as much as I can about it and just try to do as good of a job on it as I possibly can. And TikTok just happened to go pretty crazy. But but yeah, that's why I got into it pretty much. It was really just like, and still to this day, I'm still a complete student of the game. Probably every week I look back, I try to figure out like, the trends of what's happening and try to figure out why things are all going the way they are. And it all, I guess it all stems back to just being curious. You know what I mean? I'm like, why the fuck would that happen? And then you find out, and every once in a while, and I've done this with like, I think every single social media app I found, like every once in a while you'll find a little trick or something that people don't
Right.
really realize yet. And I'm like, yo, if I wait a second, I found something. Like it happens like kind of seldom, but every once in a while you find it and it's like, yo, it's like a jackpot. And I'll go super hard with whatever that is. And that'll probably work for probably a month or so, maybe a month or two. And then you start seeing a lot of other people doing it. And then
Okay.
eventually, your phone will update and that shit doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but as you know, like it goes with my career and everything. It's like, that's how I become good at what I do in real life, is to find that stuff out and give that to companies that like, dude, I did social media I live in a small town, for people that don't know. I live in Southern Oregon. It's just a real technology as a whole is pretty slow out here. And
Okay.
we're about 5 years
West
behind on pretty much
West
everything.
Coast, Midwest Coast.
Yeah, dude, just real small town, laid back people. Dude, I like 2 years ago, I was doing social media and like website management for this local sign shop. It's like a older couple and whatever. The lady didn't know what Instagram was, and she's like, do you think we should be on that Instagram thing? And I'm just sitting there like, I'm trying to like not, I had so many emotions. I'm like, wait a second. Okay, where do I start with this? Am I supposed to like explain what Instagram is? Like, what fucking year is it, dude? But that's the kind of people you deal with at times. And I don't know. I guess through doing that, my communication skills have probably gotten good. But
How'd you get to Southern Oregon? Because you went to Idaho State, right? And
yeah,
from Washington guy, Issaquah, like
yeah,
Sammamish, like why Southern Oregon?
yeah. So I went to Idaho, football scholarship, went out there, and then pretty much a month after I was there, I met my now wife. We've been
Okay.
together for 11 years. We
Damn.
met immediately, dude. We met at the first party, uh, whatever. And
My
she was 2 years old.
wasted no time.
Dude, I'm a romantic. Like, I'm never single, bro. Like, I've been single for a month in the past like 15 years. So if you guys need any advice, let me know. But
Bro,
yeah, so we
that's
met,
another section of TikTok you got to get on.
dude. I know there's always something to do. I should do that. I should actually promote that. That'd actually be
Dude,
kind of funny.
it would be fun at like the gamer, because bro, you got all these little niches kind of with
Yeah.
people don't even probably know about the football and like growing up
Yeah.
dude, I know I'm interrupting, but like I
No,
was
it's yeah,
thinking
whatever.
how I've now had 3 Skyline guys on, but like, and you and Nick being 2 of them.
You had Kaysen on, right?
Yeah, I had
No.
Kaysen
Yeah,
was
yeah,
number
yeah.
1 and Nick was like number 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But like, bro, I can remember Little League, like you and Nick, because this is before social media.
Bro,
This was
hold on
just
one
like,
second. Hold on one second.
let's go.
Yeah, baby.
Yes,
You
bro.
feel me? Let's go.
It's exactly
3 years.
that's exactly what I
Recognize.
needed, dude.
Recognize,
Oh,
homie.
because bro, you and Nick were like this like legend. Like it was Nick Crossan and Rob Tremonti, like what they both hit home runs and could just fucking throw it super hard. Like, this was like we never got to see each other play unless we played against each other or it was all
Right, yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
But it was just like this fucking legend. And so like, no, I just all of I've wanted to say that. So it was a perfect little segue of like,
That's super funny. Yeah.
dude,
Yeah, Nick and I were always like a package deal, pretty much. Like every day at recess, for example, we would always be the 2 captains on like one football team. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
no matter what we did, it was always together. Like every day after school, like I would go to his house, he'd come to my house. Like we just were like, he's so much more than just a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like he's my brother. And his family's my family. All that kind of stuff. But but yeah, we were kind of synonymous with each other when we were like little kids.
Yeah.
But I actually still have, which is super crazy. I don't know where it is, but I still have my we were on the Giants together one year of Little League. We were actually on the same team the whole year. And
Okay.
I still have the sweatshirt from that season, which is crazy. But
Damn.
yeah, I hold on to a lot of stuff for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, my back of my
I think my
mom's
dad
house.
moved. My dad moved and he sent me everything. I think that's what happened. He just wanted to get rid of all my shit in his house.
He's like,
But yeah.
get rid of these fucking sweatshirts from
Yeah. One day in
2000.
college, like all these like trophies and random shit from like when I was 6 showed up. I'm like, thanks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but yeah. I guess going back to
Yeah,
yeah, so I
yeah,
went to
sorry.
Idaho.
Back
Oh,
to
it's fine.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what was I talking about? But
Yeah.
I went to Idaho. Yeah, met my now wife, Brittany there like right away.
Okay.
And she's 2 years older than me. And she was like the chick in college. And I like got her right away. And it's crazy because she pursued me. Like,
Okay.
let's go, baby. You know what I'm saying?
What,
Super
at a
rare.
party, at a frat party? What was the
Uh, so I think we had like one frat at our college. Like it was a weird college, but no, it
Okay.
was just a big, so it was like an athlete's party. It's called the 2-a-day party. And it
Okay.
was late. It was the last weekend before school started. And all the fall sports and everything, everybody was doing 2-a-days. And you just go to this house. And there was guys that rented like I don't even know how they got in this house, but it was called like the 2-a-day house. And it was like a 3-story house. There was like 8 guys living in there. It was like a fucking huge house, but that's where the party was every single year. So I went there and we just met and kept hanging out, and then we just started going out. And that's pretty much it. But
Damn.
we ended up both having jobs out there at one point, and then she worked at a car dealership doing like marketing and finance and that type of stuff. And then she ends up getting a job transfer out here to their headquarters. So she got a job opportunity out here, and we just were like, let's go, dude. Because where we went to college, it was like a small town. I always tell people it was like a black hole, dude. It was like everything was so cheap and like simple and easy out there that people stick around for forever. It's
Yeah.
like my rent in college was like $225.
Right. Yeah.
You
No,
know, so people are like, that's dope. And then you look at like a normal area and you're like, wait a sec, I gotta pay $1,000. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah,
it's the
that's what a
same
normal
room,
fucking
it's the
house
same
is.
bathroom. Yeah, like, well,
Yeah.
what?
So they
Dude,
stick out there
I
and they,
visited Idaho State actually out of JUCO, and
oh yeah. Dude, what
um
year was that? I was probably still there.
that would have been
I had to have been there.
before it was like a mid-year visit before 2011 season.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I was 100% still there.
for sure.
That would have been crazy.
They ended up taking my offer back on the way to the airport because I'd gotten super sick like
Holy
after
shit.
my season, and so they got me on the scale at one point, and
Oh.
they thought I was a crackhead, bro, because I weighed like 145 or 150. I mean, I finished the year in JUCO at like 155, 160, but I'd
Wow.
gotten some problem, and so yeah, who was the head coach there?
I think that year, I think they got a new coach actually.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Man, I totally forget what his even name.
And
His
yeah,
name was.
the OC was some bald guy. I remember that. But
Yeah,
yeah, anyway,
they switched up a lot, like right after 2010, I think. Is when
yeah,
they did
yeah.
a huge
And
change.
so he said, "Well, we're gonna have to take that offer back, buddy, and maybe
Yeah,
at the end of the year." I was like, "Oh, well, that's all right. I'm good." But yeah, so
yeah,
wait,
that's a good decision, dude. There's
yeah,
nothing going on out there.
I think ultimately it was during those 2 years. Although, yeah, my story was with North Dakota was just as crazy. But I think that's
Yeah,
college ball for
that's
most of
good.
us.
Yeah, right. It definitely is. So yeah, we got a job transfer out here. And one crazy thing too is when I went to college, my dad was now, well, I guess my stepmom was kind of living there, but he was like the only one living in our house up in Sammamish. And so
Okay.
he moved right when I went to college. There was no point of having that house anymore. And he actually moved down here. So my dad lives, and my family's like tiny. It's like my dad, my sister, and then I have some other family, but they're all spread out. Like they're in Chicago and Denver and like all over the place. I never really see anybody. But the fact that he's now close is actually a pretty big deal because I don't have some massive family with people all down the street like a lot of people have. But yeah, we moved out here and I looked up like his address and he was like 25 minutes away. And I'm
Oh,
like, dude,
sick.
this is wild. I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years after he moved down here and it was just all just I don't know, it's just wild how life works. Like the headquarters just happens to be down the street and everything. So, but yeah,
Man,
we've been out
that's
here and I like it. I like it a lot out here, man. It's nice. It's not like we're 45 minutes away from California. So
oh, okay.
we're super southern. So we get like California weather. Summers are really hot. Um, we do get a lot of fires, which suck. Like always, there's always one point in like August where you just kind of walk outside and it smells like a bonfire, and you're like, okay, like summer's over. That's it. It's a wrap. And that's a yearly thing. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints. I mean, we lucked out with our house. Like we bought this house in 2016, almost immediately after we bought it. Like literally maybe 4 minutes down the road, if that, they just started building like Dick's Sporting Goods and like all this whole shopping center and everything. I have zero complaints. So I feel super blessed and everything that happened. But yeah, Southern Oregon's pretty cool. Their
Man,
football
that's
team's pretty good, I guess, too. They won a national championship, which is nuts.
yes. So yeah, they're NA. I had a couple buddies who played there.
Yeah.
My roommate in JUCO actually. Yeah, and because I think
Yeah.
they're NAIA and they fucking kill it.
Yeah, I guess they're good. I've never been to a game or anything. No support.
No support. You got to get on their.
I don't know
social
why,
media.
to be honest, but yeah, I just Idaho State for
Interesting.
life.
Yeah, I was wondering how you got out because I see it on the TikTok. Like you.
Yeah, it seems kind of weird.
Yeah, and you'd say the same thing about like, nah, well, we're kind of it's almost California for people who don't understand, and because dude,
Yeah.
from the
What everyone
TikTok
thinks
back
is
to
Portland.
TikTok, like TikTok, dude, like you've been a motivation or inspiration in some way of like a dude who is just fucking doing it and was like, I don't know, like fuck whatever the stigma is, regarding it of like being a 30-year-old dude doing it. And
Yeah.
have you had that in your mind at all? Because even I like to say I don't really give a fuck what people think, and then I'm like, do I really want to be on TikTok though? And then telling friends, like, I've had a couple videos blow up on TikTok. It's like, yeah, this one did really good on TikTok. And they're like, who the fuck cares, dude?
Yeah, the only people that care are you and the people that support you on TikTok. You know what I mean? But around here, like I still have friends in town and people we know and stuff that like have no idea about this whole thing that I do. You know what I mean? They don't even really understand. They don't even like know I stream and they don't know about TikTok and like, I just kind of do it. But the one thing about TikTok and me pursuing it, I guess this is kind of important, but I used to a couple years back on my Instagram stories because I made a new Instagram account in April and
Okay.
I think it only has like 1,600 followers or something like that. But I wanted to make it super personal and I wanted to post like things about my life, like no matter what it is, like just post it, whatever. But I used to have another account that was a lot bigger and
Okay.
and I grew that from kind of so many different like layers to this. But I grew that from being in the fitness industry for like 5 years. Yeah, that's a whole separate thing. But like I had a fitness brand, so I grew that, and with that, popularity, I guess, grew in that world. So that account grew a lot, and I was posting pretty much to every time I posted something on that, because like at one point I got up to like over 40,000 followers.
Okay.
So every single time I would post
And that
on
was
that,
from the Gunsmith brand?
yeah.
Okay.
So from that, I had to really calculate what I'm going to post and like, should I post this? And like, does this make sense? And is just like my last, like, is this too similar to my last like 4 posts, or is it like, like there's so many different things that people don't even think about. I don't even know if I should even calculate it that much, but that's just how I am, I guess. Fuck, I totally lost my train of thought.
We were saying something important towards like I was saying like
Oh,
not giving a fuck with TikTok.
Yeah. So no. So okay. So
It is a multiple layers.
yeah, my head's about to fucking blow up. But so back in those days when you have that many followers, I guess my goal and one thing I try to do all the time was like to just try to bring some entertainment and try to put myself out there a lot. So I was on my Instagram story a lot, just goofing around and just being myself and whatever. But I would make it a point almost daily to post like several times on my story and like, whatever, like build the brand and all that kind of stuff. That was the ultimate goal. But in doing that, I would get a lot of good reactions to a lot of dumb shit I would post, like just being myself and being goofy and just, just like trolling things or reacting to things or whatever the case may be, just being myself. And that's pretty much it. And then I saw TikTok come out and I studied it, and I was basically looking at some of the profiles that maybe somebody that I might be similar to, I guess. And I quickly realized that TikTok is pretty much just just Instagram stories on a timeline. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah. So because like a story is like 15 seconds or longer now, I guess it's like 15 seconds. I used to put like text on my stories. Like there's a lot of things that were similar, and I'm like, yo, I was getting a good reaction on my stories a lot, and there's no difference. I'm like, I'm just gonna do the same type of shit, post that, see what happens, and eventually a few TikToks and stuff just did really well. But I was pretty much posting the same type of stuff. When I first started, I didn't have a niche or anything. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I wasn't even into the gaming streaming world. I didn't do any of that. I was just posting just random shit that's trying to be relatable. That's pretty much the number one thing you want to do, but try to be relatable and just see what happens. And then I had one random video get like over 1 million views like right away. And overnight, I think my following went from like 300 to like 3,000.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I'm the kind of guy.
What was the video?
So do you pay attention to like YouTube and shit, like YouTubers?
More or less. I mean, some, yeah.
Like, do you know of like Logan Paul, like boxing and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So Logan Paul,
I'm not super into it, but yeah.
Yeah. But you kind of know what I'm saying. So Logan Paul had a big boxing match against this dude named KSI, who's like the biggest YouTuber. Yeah. So, and that was 2019. I think that was in November. So I'm watching the boxing match because I'm like into YouTube and like that type of stuff. And I'm watching the boxing match and I'm watching it live. And I know because I've done this before with UFC and Vine. Yeah, every single story has like I try to add context and it makes like 10 more stories.
That's all right.
God. Okay.
That's the point of podcast being long form, and we can go for 2 hours, however long it needs
for
to.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I knew the fight was live, and I knew if there was a highlight, there's an insane audience. Most of them are going to be on TikTok. And I know if I can get a clip out of it, of like a slow-mo hit or something cool, I know I'll be the first person on the internet to post this video. Like I have to be. There's no one else. It's live. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I did that. I did that with like 5 different clips. Every single one did really well. Like hundreds of thousands of views. But one of them in particular went crazy. And it's because Logan basically is making fun of KSI before the fight, but then Logan lost the fight. So you have this whole argument of like, yeah, he's an asshole, but he didn't even win. And like, all this stuff, people are arguing and whatever. But all of a sudden, like I got 3,000 followers. And then I started posting, I don't really know how it kept growing, but same type of stuff, just like relatable, normal life shit. And I guess it just kind of worked. And then in January of last year, or at the beginning of last year, I think I had 10K.
Okay.
And from then on, it just kept going. But I definitely do remember videos that would go crazy back then. Like you get that one that hit, even if it hits like 50K back then, like you would get a lot of followers from that. Like you would just get random people just following your shit. But nowadays, um, I can post a video that gets, just a crazy video that gets 500,000 views or whatever, and you don't get even remotely the same amount of like follower reaction, I guess. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people nowadays watch shit, but they're not really just quick to hit the follow button like it was back in those days, unless it's really valuable content. But I see a lot of people that post like I have a buddy who has, I think he has like 20K or something, and every single video, I swear to God, I don't know how he does it, but every single video gets like hundreds of thousands of views. It's like the
Damn.
most wild thing. But if he was putting those numbers up like a year ago, he would easily have 200,000 followers. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's a different, yeah, there's a change for sure, and it's interesting to see that
No, I
with
mean,
people.
just from myself, like when I first hopped on TikTok, like if it was cool, remotely cool, I didn't know who to follow on it. I don't know what it is. I
Yeah,
was like, if it gave me a little something, yeah, I'll follow that person. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
right.
she's hot. Okay, I'll follow that. Like it was like Instagram back in the day. You were like, oh, follow,
Yeah,
and then you
right.
finally, I've had to now go back through and
Yeah,
be like, okay, I don't need like
that's probably
50
what it was.
21-year-old girls who just shake their ass the whole
Yeah,
fucking time,
yeah.
like
Only 45.
only,
Yeah.
yeah, like moderation is key, and, and so,
Right.
but
Right.
dude, same kind of thing, like I
Your
I had my
user behavior changes, you know?
yeah, totally, but I went from like never on it, maybe like 20-30 followers or whatever, to 2,000 on one video of
Yeah.
like some
The
conspiracy type
controversial.
shit,
Yeah, yeah.
of
I saw
just the
that.
clip from one of my podcasts saying like, I think the George Floyd thing's kind of a
Yeah, dude.
setup, and
And then
I
you're on
had,
Snapchat.
yeah, dude, that was the craziest thing ever,
That was
bro.
so funny, bro.
Dude, when I don't even use Snapchat anymore, so I had, well, like at
I
least
don't either.
didn't check Snapchat. So I just had a random message from a friend that was like, "Have you seen this?" And I'm like,
Oh my God.
"No," And but the funny
It's so
thing
wild.
is like some other guy I followed on TikTok, I forget his name. I still, Ryan something, and he's always talking about like different ways to cut things and zoom in, zoom out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know what you're
And
talking
so
about.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try that with one of my podcast clips. I've never done that. And the
Yeah.
George Floyd one's literally the first one I ever did like that. I
And it worked.
I posted it. I was living in Barcelona at the time. I go to the beach. I don't have like an active number, so I can only get service on Wi-Fi. I
Oh,
go to
wow.
the
Okay.
beach with my phone, do a workout, and at one part on the beach, I could get Wi-Fi, just random Wi-Fi. It automatically connects, and my phone just went fucking crazy. And I was like, zzz, 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 zzz. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is going on? Because before I'd never get a notification on TikTok.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm checking, it's at like
It's
20,000 views
wild.
or whatever. And I'm like,
It's a crazy experience.
no way, and so
Yeah.
like I just posted one yesterday about like being in Finland and someone asking if I'm on vacation here, like during January, like
Oh,
mid-January, -30, and like I'm getting
that's what
like
it
a
is
little
where you're at right
Finnish.
now?
Yeah, I'm in Finland now,
It's
and
negative 30?
it was -30 Celsius, so that's like negative, still full cold as
That's
fuck, like
still cold
negative
as shit. Yeah.
15 last week.
Jesus Christ.
So, but yeah, like right now I'm getting that little, like it's not as extreme, but
Yeah.
um
Still
it's
though.
all like Finnish um
Yeah.
followers or whatever. And so like it's funny, like with
Oh,
the podcast, finding the little niche, because the weird thing about being out here is part of it's like I don't even know how the algorithm works. I'd be curious to ask you about this. But like it starts like geographically a little bit,
Oh, for sure.
And
No doubt.
so like
Yeah,
for
TikTok pings your, well, I don't know. I was told it pings your location every like 30 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
like
it knows
a
exactly
lot
where
of
you
my
are.
stuff about the states don't do shit because like no one really
Yeah.
gets it, you know, like where I
It's a
am.
real thing.
But
It's a
this
real
one
thing.
about Finland, and so I've thought back to myself. I'm like, yo, I've talked about Finland quite a few times in the last like 4 or 5 podcasts, but I don't clip those ones up because no
Yeah. You
one,
feel
you
like you're
know,
still like in the States.
yeah, I kinda, you know, or like
Yeah.
I don't know what my audience is for this podcast, to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
get random messages from people in Mexico, Poland, California, Connecticut, Germany, you know, like all over Brazil, like
Yeah.
that are listening to this. So
That's
my
good.
target
It
audience
is
is
tough though.
I have no such thing as a target audience. I got
Yeah.
random messages from girls after last episode because I talked about like relationship stuff and like being
Oh,
on Tinder and bullshitting and like soulmates, and I was like, holy
yeah.
shit, girls listen to this? Like I didn't even know, you know, like
What are you? Oh, you're
yeah,
a girl.
what's going
Yeah.
on? But yeah, so after today, I'm like, okay, I like some of the conspiracy shit, like just from my own, like I like
Yeah.
just speaking my mind,
It's great to
and
talk about and listen
it's
to for
fun to,
sure.
it's,
Yeah.
and
It's
although
fun
with
to
that
like talk
said,
about.
I'm also excited. Oh, and we're doing this on a historical day and inauguration day, like with that,
Oh,
I'm
facts.
excited
Yeah.
for people to like not care about politics again,
Oh my
like
God.
that'll be
Dude.
really nice. But I
Do
also
you
like
how
doing the,
active are you on Twitter?
say what?
Because Twitter's the worst.
Oh,
I was gonna say
Twitter
Twitter.
is
Dude,
the
like
whole,
2, 3 months ago. Oh
oh,
my God. All these people were coming out of the woodwork. I'm like, you
dude.
don't even, what are you talking about? Like, you've never cared about any of this. And they don't anymore.
They,
I'm like,
they
dude,
won't. They won't.
yeah, they never will. I'm like, what is this?
I watched the last vlog or the newest vlog you just posted, and you're
Oh yeah.
like no
Oh
one knows
yeah.
it. No one knows anything anymore unless you're on Twitter. Then everyone knows everything. Like
Right. Dude, it's so true. These people get so aggressive and passionate about these things that I just know they don't care about because there's no other time where they're ever talking about it. You know what I
no,
mean?
it's
So
insane.
they just
My new
mob
conspiracy
mentality.
theory is like Trump was just another cog in the system to he appealed as this guy that wasn't with the system, and maybe he
Yeah.
really wasn't. Maybe they really didn't want him in, but they used that motherfucker to the max to get this like emotional just like instability and outrage because it's
Dude.
wild, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is pretty fucking crazy. I guess he's trying to get Lil Wayne out of jail though.
Yeah, he
Which is
pardoned
lit.
I mean,
He's pardoned everybody. Why wasn't he doing that 3 years ago?
but he didn't pardon Assange, how do you say his last name?
I honestly don't even know who the other people are. I
Assange.
don't
I
know.
don't.
I just know who Lil Wayne is. That's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
he didn't pardon Julian and one other guy that was like,
Oh,
those are the guys that need to get pardoned
oh,
supposedly.
really? Yeah.
But he got Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, and so they were like, I saw something on Twitter that was like,
Oh,
if Julian Assange would have made a mixtape, he could have gotten pardoned.
yeah.
Like
I was gonna say Trump used to be in a lot of rap songs, dude. It's not a he's trying to get that street cred back. Oh
it's
man, yeah. So I don't really I'm not really into politics at all because I just don't know. It's mainly I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to listen to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what. And I also feel like I can't really change much. And I don't know. I just try to focus on things throughout my days and stuff where it could like definitely affect my life and I can grow personally and that type of stuff. And I feel like putting a lot of energy because I feel like you can't put a little bit of energy into politics. You really gotta be into it. You can't just like sort of talk about it, because if you
right.
say anything, now you got 3 people challenging you, and now you got to explain yourself. Because if you don't explain yourself, then you just look like a moron. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
You look like you really aren't informed because you don't follow up and that type of stuff. But like, I don't have 2 hours to discuss with Joe Blow 69 on Twitter about something. You know what I mean?
For sure. No,
Like
I mean,
I cannot afford, literally, I cannot afford to get into that world. I don't
no,
know.
I think you're smart. And I mean, I've wrestled throughout like my life of when I was 18, I was a big Ron Paul guy and like researched
Okay.
stuff and like really got into it. And
Yeah.
then
It's easy to get sucked into it, by the way,
then you
for sure.
ultimately just end up getting really mad. Like
Yeah.
no matter what, because it doesn't matter who it
Yes.
is, like we're gonna get fucked basically. But also at
Yeah.
the same time, to me, it doesn't matter who it is, like I'm gonna do me,
I
like
know. That's kind of
especially
how I
me
feel.
now, bro. I haven't been in the States now in almost a year and a half. So like
Wow.
and I don't
Yeah.
really know when the next time I have an Irish passport now. So like I'm
Wow.
I'm
That's
if I
crazy.
wanted, like I'd never have to go back. And so like
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm like reading some of the Twitter stuff and like laughing or like maybe getting a little mad or something, I'm like, dude, why do you care? Like I
I
don't
know.
care, but
Yeah.
my newest thing is it's funny you kind of said it is like because I view myself as not on either side, but it when so and so
That's kind of
that
odd. Yeah.
that makes you an enemy to both sides. And so like when
Yeah.
I post something,
That is
like
funny.
I posted an Instagram story about like the hypocrisy of everything going on, and I
Yeah.
literally get someone
Oh,
on the left and someone on the right basically saying the same thing but in their way.
yeah.
And for both people now I'll just respond okay
Yeah.
and just put the phone away. It's like long ass message. Well, it wasn't a
Dude, yeah, that's the
comparison
best way.
because they were doing something for democracy and da 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 da. And like,
Yeah.
uh, okay, like
Yeah.
and it just ends it. And I'm like,
What I do is if somebody writes a really long thing, I'll like reference like the first maybe like the fifth word in their paragraph. And I was like, I stopped reading after this word. Have a good day. Or something like that. Or a lot of times people, I honestly don't get much hate on the internet. But so every once in a while somebody will show up. That's not even following me, that's how
yeah.
it always
You just
somebody.
get the comparisons to the people that I don't even know who the Green Arrow guy, but I think that's a
Oh
compliment.
my
I don't
god.
know.
I would say that's a compliment. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a lot better looking than me. And I'm like, yo, if you're gonna say I look like somebody, that's better than you saying I look like fucking Jabba the Hutt or something.
Yeah.
Be my guest. But yeah, there's a lot of comparisons. But yeah, no, every once in a while somebody will leave some hate or some crazy shit on my pages, and I'll just respond super nicely
Yeah.
because there's nothing else. There's no other. You can't like hate on me again if I respond to you nicely. You know what I mean? It's like if they talk some crazy shit, and I'm like, dude, thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you have a great day.
Yes. Yes.
They're not going to be like, fuck you, or it's like a lot of times they either won't say something or they'll just be like, you too, man, like a normal
Yeah.
response.
No,
And I'm
that's
like,
the weird thing about TikTok I've noticed is if you match the dickhead with some like love and say
yeah,
like a smiley face or like laugh at what they say and say like, "Hey, I hope your day gets better" or something.
they switch
They'll
up
they switch up
every time.
so quick. It's
Every
crazy.
time. Yeah, I don't yeah. I think I give people the benefit of the doubt a lot. And I think a lot of times people comment some shit that they must not have realized was even that hateful or something, you know?
Yeah. Maybe.
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you be nice or whatever. And they're like, yeah, man, haha, like I actually love your videos and stuff. And I'm like, I'm like, thanks. Like you can show support in a different way. Like rather than talking about how fat
but
I
at,
am or something,
but at the same
It's like,
time the for the algorithm monster, it's like that comment is helping you out too,
oh,
like
oh, believe me, there are things I post where I know will get a reaction, dude.
like
Yeah,
oh yeah
I don't do much that's not calculated. When I
that
do anything, even the real simple stuff you guys like you see, there's definitely thought into how this could be or what this could turn into. You know what I mean?
uh-huh
It's never just
right
like random stuff. It's like who am I targeting? What could they talk about in this video? What did I say that um, might just be my opinion? Maybe it's not really an actual fact. Like there's a lot of different things that go into it, but that's just I don't know how most people are, but that's just kind of how I think about it. You know what I mean? So
Did you study this stuff in school too? Is this or
uh I took one class, but
okay?
and I actually did really well in that class, but I learned I can remember one thing I learned from that class. Everything else I don't remember at all. So this has always been I don't know. My my dad's always been a huge marketing guy too.
Okay.
So you would think that's why. And we do talk about it and we whatever, but we've never had like we don't sit down and like he doesn't teach me stuff. You know what I mean? We just talk about it in conversation, like joke about stuff like, hey, you see this guy's commercial? Like, what the fuck was that? Like that type of stuff. It's never like, hey, do you know what this means? And if you do this, like that'll because like I help him nowadays with stuff because he knows like social media is like my thing. So it's like he could very well play the whole because he was pretty high up in Microsoft and he did marketing for them and like in advertising, and that's been his life pretty much forever. And now he's doing like consulting work, like marketing for people on social media. And we actually have a lot of like similarities, which is funny, but it was never ever me trying to do what he does. It has nothing to do with that at all. Um, I would attribute my knowledge with social media and marketing and stuff to um, starting a brand back in high school. I don't know if you remember Robbery, but I ran that the
I
clothing brand with
don't
Joey
know.
Evans. Yeah, so me and Joey
Ah,
Evans ran a streetwear company and we started that in high school. And that brand lasted like 7 years. Like we got like almost 20K on Instagram when Instagram first came out, you know?
wow.
Yeah, that was a legit thing. People still fucking comment on my stuff and say something about it. And it's like cracks me up because I'm like, yo, it's just such a nostalgic thing. But in doing that, I learned so many different things through necessity. It was me and him. We had to learn everything. We had to learn. I pretty much had just gotten into graphic design like 2 years before that, and then I started designing everything for the brand. So like I got better at graphic design because I had to. And then like marketing wise, it's like who else is going to get the word out? We need to be using Facebook, and then we need to be. And then I got into like photography because who's going to take the fucking photos? You know what I mean? And
We're
then
not gonna hire somebody.
yeah, I have $10. Like, and back then nobody knew how to do that shit anyway. So,
Yeah.
I learned that through that, and then marketing and the psychological aspect of how consumers act and that type of stuff. You just learn that over the span of a long time. And then I started the next clothing brand, and that was more of an advanced. I mean, I was older. I was way
Yeah.
older. We started the other one when I was like 16 or something. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So that's a way you're a different human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the same thing. I started the next clothing brand, the fitness thing, with another guy in town, and he was originally going to be the content. He was like he's a big time power lifter. He deadlifts like over 800 pounds and like
Jesus.
super muscular and just gnarly looking guy. And at the time I was working like a normal corporate job, like in an office. And I just shut down the streetwear company 10 months prior to this. Now
And
I'm
what
sitting in
what
my
made you
cubicle
shut it down finally?
because I moved out to Oregon. I landed a pretty serious job like almost right away.
Okay.
And I was told by my boss, who was probably one of the most intense people I've ever met in my life and business savvy, most respected guy in the car world because it was an automotive group out here.
Okay.
Um, I was told that I'd be traveling for 150 days of the year. And at this point, Joey had just said that he was like moving to Mexico
Okay.
or traveling and stuff. And there's just I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this because I had all the clothes at my house and I was doing like all the shipping and the design work, and I'm like, when am I gonna do this? Like maybe this is just it. Like
Uh-huh.
time to hang it up, which sucked because I remember talking to him about that vividly. I remember where I was sitting in my house and like and everything, and it was like it sucked, dude. It was a big part of our thing because it was
Well, no,
around
that's
forever.
like a baby, that's like a
Big, it was
giving
the
up a
first serious thing
child
I
in a
ever did.
way.
Yeah, first serious responsibility I ever had. First everything. So but yeah, so we started. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like through necessity, I learned how to advertise effectively, and you just screw up so many times over the years. And like I look back now at stuff I used to do, and there's a lot of. I mean, I took a lot of bad photos. I took a lot of certain posts I had were just stupid, and you look back and you just learn from that kind of stuff. But as far as like why or how I know what I know, it's like 100% through just doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I started that huge challenge back in those days. And my dad actually, I don't know if he encouraged me to do it, but he supported it 100%. He fronted the first like $500 to go get some shirts made. Like he
Okay.
was like, yeah, let's do it. And I remember him helping me with like the logo and like, um, he was all about it. And I'm like incredibly grateful for that. Now that I think about it, I guess I never really even think about it, but, yeah, if he didn't support me and stuff like that, this whole who I am today wouldn't even be remotely the fucking same. So, um,
Isn't it crazy
but yeah,
how like a thing like how you say getting to where you're at now with like, I mean, I just saw the G Fuel brand deal and other kind of stuff,
yeah,
but like how you can relate it all, like it's all butterfly effect and shit, but like
yeah,
back to like 16-year-old starting a clothing brand and then, all these things is insane. And I mean,
yeah.
how what I like that I'm just learning, I kind of figured I forgot about the robbery stuff.
Dude,
But
I forget about a lot of stuff too. Like,
dude, the the
there's a
the
lot of shit,
key
man.
is just that first step and
Yeah,
like taking, I mean, you say some of the things like the I'd been wanting to do a vlog and shit, like get my YouTube game going for a while,
yeah,
and bought like a GoPro 4 back in 2014 or 13 or whatever it was.
yeah.
Didn't
Because
use
your
it
vlogs
for
were popping,
yeah,
like the
didn't
Thailand
didn't
ones,
use
right?
it for
Or
like 2-3 years, and then finally like living in Poland I was like, all right, I'm just gonna try it. And it's like did the first like 20 vlogs like with a shaky GoPro 4 bringing it around,
yeah,
like,
dude.
and I mean, terrible looking at back at it now, it's just like horrible, but at the same time it was like it got the ball rolling to make the mistakes that
Yeah,
you're talking about. And no, the
yeah,
it's just crazy how it can all start from like the starting point is always super interesting. And like the
for
story I
sure.
told about Nick's, the fuck up with Nick's podcast, which was like the second one or third
Yeah,
one I did, of forgetting to record because I'm worrying about the camera, and then ultimately that leads me to getting a $1,000 camera out of it that
yeah,
now I've used to like record and do some other editing things.
yeah, dude.
And even just like, dude, Kason and I'd had the idea for the podcast, but I kind of have struggled, I think, at times with like I don't even know who I'm concerned about, of like what they think, but somebody I'm concerned about. And so like
Yeah.
didn't want to start the podcast, and then Case and I just got together to throw one day. It's like before XFL, before I go to Finland or
Oh
something.
yeah.
And I'm like, yo, bro, what music you listening to? Like, let's put some music on. He's like, dude, I don't even listen to music right now. I just only listen to podcasts. I'm like, bro, I just
Really?
bought mics. Like, I want to start a podcast. He's like,
Yeah.
let's fucking do one after we throw next time. I'm like, okay,
All
like that's
right.
and we hadn't seen
Yeah.
each other in like 10 years, or probably like 5, 6, 7 years before that.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite like
Yeah.
it
Yeah, dude.
it's evolved, but like that one's still like, that was a cool one because it's like I look back at it now and it's, even though it's like number one of trying, it's
Yeah.
still decent, like it's
Oh, for sure.
some of the old vlogs, and I'm sure like you said, the photography, you look back and you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
like that's fucking disgusting. But like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
no, just the little relationship, and you just don't know where that first step's gonna start.
Yeah. Dude. Well, yeah. Looking back and I've said this like several times, but if you don't look back at your content, I think if you don't look back at your content, probably like maybe like 6 to 8 months from now, and cringe a little bit,
Yeah,
then you have not made any progress, dude. If you don't, well, maybe not cringe, but like if you don't see a difference, then you're just not making progress, dude.
totally.
Unless you're already a videographer and like everything's already crazy quality. But even like the little things, like people, the little attention to details that a lot of people don't do. Like you'll make a video and like jump cuts where you cut out a little like awkward space or something. You know
Yes, yes,
what I'm saying? So like it sounds a little more fluent. If you look at I don't even know. Well, Casey, I don't know if he's a good example, but you just look at like an average vlogger, like anybody, like they'll start and that'll be way off. I guess you can just take mine. You can just take some of my super old ones. My jump cuts were completely different than they are today. You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? It's like little things like that. But back in those days, I thought that vlog was fucking sick. I'm like, dude, this is like so good. Like how, but I look back now and I'm like, I'm so close to deleting it. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
dude,
But
I
then I
thought
tell
my
myself,
GoPro
yo,
4
I got better. Like,
Yeah, I thought my GoPro 4 shaky cams were the shit, bro. Like I was literally like mad at the world at one point because I was like, why don't these have more and they still got like
yeah,
a couple hundred views, which
that's
for
good.
the quality of content was more than they should have gotten, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why haven't I gotten like I should be blowing up by now. And like looking back now, I'm like, oh my God, that's gross, dude.
Yeah, dude. Well, actually, that's kind of interesting. I've been finding more and more, probably in the past year, that it appears to me that people are starting to care less and less about like professional quality. I mean, it matters to a certain degree, but like they care less and less about like professional quality stuff and care substantially more just about the person
Right.
and in connecting with the person and that type of stuff. I follow some people on YouTube that they have millions of subscribers and we use the same camera. Like
Mm.
that camera, it doesn't even have an external mic. You can't even put one on it. It just has like two little things. So if there's wind, it kind of picks up the wind. But I'm watching these vlogs and I don't care about the little wind sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's the person. You know what I mean? And authenticity is like has been the wave, I think, for like a couple years now. But people just want to learn more about these people and connect and relate and all that. And the professional stuff is great, but sometimes I watch people that their content is such it's just crazy, but their content is such high quality that I can't even it makes it feel like just unrelatable for
Yeah.
some reason. There's
Yeah.
something about somebody that's really, really popular doing something and picking up something like that camera, like that anybody can really do. And that inspires me like crazy. When I see the really high definition stuff, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is really dope. Like I respect it, but I don't get inspired by it because I'll never be making content like this. Like I don't, you know what I mean? That's not really my path. I happen to have a lot of friends that are like, that do high quality shit. None of them inspire me. But
Fuck
but
all you guys.
yeah, if you're listening, inspire me with shit. No, but yeah, no, there's something about kind of the raw approach. And I think I'm gonna start taking more of that approach with my stuff because I find myself sometimes holding myself to the standard of always putting out really high quality shit. But I don't think I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people follow me for me and don't expect me to they don't like if I come out with a new vlog, they don't expect it to be have some crazy cinematography and stuff. They
Right.
just want to see what I'm up to. Like that's my audience. One of my best friends, his name's Johnny. He's an actual videographer. Like he works for like huge brands. He does stuff with like NBA players. Like that's his thing. And his YouTube channel, which is picking up now, I think he's almost at like 8,000 subs.
Okay.
I think he hit that in like a year. But his stuff, but he's a videographer. So like he's always got the fucking dope B-roll and like the, you know, he owns like 5 cameras and like that's his thing. So like I expect that. But with my stuff, like people follow me on TikTok for just being a dumbass. You know what I mean? So like that's, you know, I just gotta keep being myself. I guess that's the moral of the story. It's like, you know, stay true to who you are and that's it. Because if I was trying to do the super high quality stuff and then my TikToks are just from my phone, like it wouldn't even really make sense to you. But
No, I think dude, I mean, you don't need me to tell you this, but I think you got your path kind of figured
yeah,
out, you know, you figure it out while you're on the way. That's been pretty fun to ever since I don't
it
know how
never
long I've
ends.
been
Yeah,
consuming you now, but it's fun to kind of see. And the on the note of like being real, and then also that like fine line of like authenticity plus videography is like, I'm sure like you follow Danny Duncan and watch his shit. And
yeah. I don't. I'm not. Yeah, I know exactly who he is. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a big fan or anything. Like I don't like I have no idea. I haven't watched one of his videos in a long time.
okay,
But
well,
he is like the he's one of the best, dude.
yeah,
You
no,
know,
but it's to
he
that
crushes
point
it.
where like, I mean, his you watch like he's done a good job of blending like some good videography, cinematography with that real shit, but it's
Yeah,
almost getting to that point, like you said, where it's like
it's just
unrelatable in a way. Like, I mean, his life
yeah,
is fucking crazy and he's self-made and all that
yeah,
stuff, but like
yeah.
it's
He's
getting to
definitely
the
unique.
point where it's like, all right, dude, it's almost too good, you know, like
Yeah, yeah. There's something about people clearly. It's such a weird thing to say.
it is.
There's
It's
something
like a
about people like
compliment,
trying. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's like a
but it's
yeah.
not.
No, there's something about like see people that clearly tried just super hard
Yeah.
and God, I don't even know how to say this. You know, it almost like turns you off. It's like yeah, this guy's a real try hard. You know what I mean? It's almost like yeah, imagine working hard. Like it's such a weird thing
No,
to
and with
I need to
like the
figure out how to
social
communicate
media
this.
stuff, like when, at least in my experience, like when I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one, like that shit always sucked. That one
Oh,
flops, you know?
dude,
It's always
every
the one
time.
where I'm like, this one's not that good. This one's all right,
Yeah.
like, but and that one blows.
Dude, I've heard that a bazillion times. But yeah. Yeah, there's something about just casually doing things, I guess, and looking like you didn't really try and I guess it just makes it you seem a little more humanized or something. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't some production and with a lot of thought and like strategy. It really is just you freestyling and maybe it's because in doing that, I'm trying to process this, you know. I
Yeah.
didn't really think about this. I think it's just yeah, I don't know. There's something about just casually just winging it and I guess it goes back to relatability. You know, that's really it. But I think you can really tell who somebody is when they just freestyle it. I guess that's why podcasts are so popular too. You know, there's no
For sure. Yeah, I
production
mean,
to.
and that's the interesting part you say with the podcast is I go when I first was starting, I'd go in and try and have a, you know, like almost scripted thing for like, okay, I'm going to try
Oh
and
yeah.
ask this question so I kind of know the answer, and so then I'm going to
Oh,
get to this question, and I'd watch it back and it'd be all right, but like with
but
Nick's,
you know what
like
you're doing. You know.
I wish that I would have gone in like much less scripted, because
Mm,
when I watch it back, I'm like, damn, I could have asked an awesome question there, or we could have gotten onto that topic there, but I was too
yeah.
busy focusing on kind of the script.
Right.
And you know,
For
like
what for what
there's a
it's worth,
fine line.
I watched that and I couldn't tell you were doing that at all. So if that
Okay.
makes any if that yeah, I never thought about that once. But yeah, I think that's one of those things where you have that little bit. I used to have a podcast when we were doing the fitness thing. We
Oh,
had a
okay.
podcast as well, and I think we got like 30 something episodes at one time. But yeah, I would go into all
You're gonna
those.
be episode 51 here.
Let's go. Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Holy
I
shit,
hit
let's go.
I just posted 50 yesterday, so that was like
Congrats.
a
That's
big,
that's a big
yeah.
deal.
Although shit,
Wow.
I should almost what, you were 53 in high school?
Yeah, I was
Damn,
just
I
gonna
should
say that.
I should almost
I was
hold
gonna
out.
say I should be
I
episode
maybe
53. That'd be
I
sick.
might, because I'm gonna do another one on maybe I'll hold out. I can make you
Yeah, let's do it,
53.
baby.
Okay, I'll make you 53.
That's so funny. I was gonna say that. I'm like, he probably doesn't even know what fucking number I am, but
Bro, I remember I have finally 11 years later, maybe I only think about that state championship game in the shower once a month now. Like maybe. Like I
I
still
just think it's cool that we played you guys in the state. I mean, that's like it doesn't get any better than that if you really think about it. And it
oh
was close, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
yeah,
Close game?
we fucking had you guys. It was 20 to it was 20 to 15 or 20. It was less than a touchdown. We were winning
Yeah,
going into
it
the
was
fourth,
close.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, it was close.
And then they finally threw it deep to Kaysen, and like dude, there's no one
That's every
there's
game.
no one in
Dude.
the area that could cover Kaysen, and
Nah.
like they didn't throw it to him the whole game, and then finally they did.
Who was your cornerback on him?
Kyle Hansen.
No way, dude.
Yeah,
On
Kyle
Casey.
Hansen.
Oh my
It
god.
was like Kyle was fast as fuck too, and it was just like, dude, we know they're gonna throw it deep to Kaysen. Just fucking turn around and run, bro. Like,
yeah. Don't even think otherwise. Right.
But no, I've literally that game, and it's finally gotten to the point where my dad like won't bring it up when we talk on the phone. Like, it was so fucking annoying for like literally all through college. Almost every time we'd talk, because he has the DVD of the game, and like he coached our group from when we were like 8 until freshman year. So he we had a lot of dudes from that like original team, like back in the day that made some plays in the state game. So like he has an affinity for that game and stuff, and he'd be you guys shouldn't have tried to draw him offside. Should have just ran it with Galatly. I'm like, bro, dude, dad, I love you. I don't want to fucking talk about this game anymore. All right.
Dude, got all those names. That's so crazy.
Dude,
like Grant, I remember him.
Dude, that like, I mean, we've just narrowed the target audience of who can relate to this, but like that.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That the entire story of that game was crazy. The fact that we went to freshman year high school all together at the freshman campus.
Yeah.
And then to play the crosstown rival, Skyline and Issaquah are 5 miles away from each other, if that.
Yeah, dude.
In the state champion, in the biggest division of state, like, dude, that's wild. I mean,
that was dope.
Gino and I were homies up until high school football,
after that game.
Up until like freshman. We were friends all like going into freshman summer, and then the first game happened, and it was just like, all right,
yeah,
bro.
That was a legit rivalry for sure,
dude.
Didn't you guys like, or there? Well, it wasn't like you guys, but it was like fans, I guess. They would do some crazy shit like the week of the game, right? Didn't somebody like light a eagle head on fire or something? Like
probably, dude. I mean, this was back like
I swear someone did that on the field.
We were like right on the cool little like. I'm super grateful of the time we got to grow up, because like we had MySpace, we kind of had Facebook, but then like, dude, I would come to high school basketball games drunk as fuck. Like, I mean, drunk and like drinking in the parking lot. It was like the good old like 80s, 90s, like movie kind of stuff, but still with like the 2000 technology a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you couldn't get exposed back then. Like,
you couldn't. Like, the only way you'd get caught is if like the principal talked to you, and it was like, I'm putting eye drops in and eating 4 pieces of gum before I walk into the game. I'm good, like, it's like
instantly sober.
Dude, I'm good, bro.
4 pieces of gum,
I mean, bro, me and Brennan Miller, he'll love that
I love Brennan.
This.
Yeah,
dude, we would chug Coronas in the parking lot before basketball games to go in. Like
Oh my
just
god.
sitting there, just drinking 3 of them as fast as we could to catch a
Oh
buzz. You
yeah.
know, like
That's like when you first started. I mean, that was, I think I started well, I don't know if I should even say that, but yeah, that was,
yeah, I don't
good
I don't
times.
condone any of this
Good time.
behavior, you
No,
know.
I think I accidentally drank a lot when I was 16.
I think somehow
I just somehow, I don't even know what happened, but yeah, I always
oh
ended up in
dude,
a
we
pool
were we
house.
were I mean, garage hopping. I mean, it was those were the time
Yeah.
like, but you couldn't I mean, I did get caught before my junior year smoking weed, but like
Mm.
you had to be it was some dumb shit. Like you had to do some really dumb shit to get caught basically.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I ever really did that was like, I sort of regret was like having a party at my house. And I
Okay.
did that. And, there was a fight in the basement. I forget who it was. Somebody got in a fight, and there was like in our basement, it's like all white carpet everywhere.
Oh god.
And I remember like there was some blood on the carpet and shit. And I was on the second level of my house. I wasn't even watching the fight. And people come upstairs and they're like, "Yo, whatever, just got knocked out." And I'm like, "The fuck are you doing down there? Like, can you just like not fight? Like what?" And and then I eventually got caught for that party, but I've
Like by the
always
school?
not by my dad.
Oh, by your dad. Okay.
He found a bag of beer cans outside. I got rid of like 10 bags, and then he found the one. And he's like, "Hey, I gotta talk to you." I'm like, "Oh shit." But he was cool about it because I never got in trouble. I've always I don't know. I've always been a real like cautious dude. I think it's because so I have a sister that's 3 years older than me,
Okay.
and she had a very long stretch of just getting in trouble, and it all it all stemmed from hanging around the wrong people. She started hanging around people that were um a few years older than her, and then and just bad crowds, and we're very opposite in a lot of ways. We have some similarities like personality wise, but friend relationship wise and friends wise, it was just way different way back in those days. And she got in trouble a lot. She ended up going like a boarding school and all that kind of shit.
Oh, damn.
And so I would see her get in trouble a lot. And my like for example, my this is kind of crazy, but like my room growing up, from the window you could see my driveway in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And there's a few different instances where one in particular that I vividly remember late at night, I woke up and there was like a cop car like coming down my driveway. And they're like, "Yeah, that's," I was like, "What the fuck's going on? This is crazy." Turns out it's my sister. I'm like, "Okay, nice." And then there was another time where like some dude super early in the morning got chased out of her room. He was like hiding in the closet, like crazy shit. So like I'm hearing my parents like going nuts and all that kind of stuff. So like I just always was like, I don't want anything to do with that. If there's any sign of like danger or like trouble, like I want nothing to do with that shit. And even to this day, I'm like a very, you know, cautious person in general. I just want nothing to do with fucking any of that stuff, dude. So
That's interesting. I mean, because it's like with a
I learned
sibling
so
like
much.
that, it's either you follow in the footsteps or
Yeah,
divert completely the other way
for
normally,
sure.
I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think if I didn't have athletics in my life, I think I would have well, I know I would have been a completely different person, man. Because dude, when you got football in high school, for example, I didn't have time to do anything else. Like I didn't have time to hang out with anybody after practice or anything like that time after school. I don't know what I think we got out of school like what like 2:30 or something.
Yeah.
I forget, but you get 2:30 to like 6 or 7. If you're not playing sports or something, you could be doing a lot. You can be doing. There's a lot of different options you could
Oh,
have between those
for
times. Your
sure.
parents, your parents are probably both at work. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can go down a crazy path. But I had football and I loved working out, so I always facilitated my those time that time slot, I guess.
No, dude, that's what
With all
what
that.
you just said. Like the, I don't smoke weed anymore, but I was a stoner for like 10
Yeah.
years, which it all really like started from sophomore year. I got hurt in the first JV game of the year on a fake punt, and dude, that's so
What
shitty.
position were you
And
playing?
and what'd you say?
Were you were you punting it?
I was punter. We dude, this is actually a
What?
good story. It's so fucked up. We'd scored the play before on a fake punt, but the bullet
Might
wasn't
as
on the
well run
line
it
of
again.
scrimmage. So it
Oh,
got
okay.
called back. We for a JV team, we had like 8 fake punts. So
Yeah.
hey, let's try another one. So this next one, they snap it to the up back. He throws a swing to me. I catch it on the right sideline, reverse field, and then think I'm breaking it, but I wasn't fast enough to break it. Go to make
Yeah.
one guy miss, and a dude caught me from behind, rolled over, broke my collarbone, like heard it
Oh my
snap,
God.
And but that year, so I was out for that whole year.
Mhm.
And speaking of hanging out with older kids and all,
Yeah.
the other senior that was hurt, he got hurt first game of varsity. We would show up to practice together, and I'd smoked a little weed before this. We'd show up to practice, but it wasn't like my thing.
Yeah.
Show up to practice, say what's up to coach. Our coaches were fucking idiots that year anyway. And we'd just be like, all right, see ya. And we'd leave and go figure out how to get high, basically. And that was
Yeah.
for 3 months of whatever the season was.
Right.
And like that is like I can really trace it back to there's also other psychological things of
Right.
trying to suppress feelings and emotions and that kind of stuff, but
That's a real
those
thing.
first little 3 months at that young age, the combination for
Oh
sure
yeah.
just got me into the rhythm of doing that.
Yeah.
And because dude,
Exactly.
like you said, between 2 and 6, 2 and 7,
Dude, do whatever you want.
you could do a lot of things. You could drive, you had wheels,
Yeah.
you could have a
Yeah.
couple.
And when you got a car, it's like, damn, it just makes me not even want to be a parent.
No, dude,
now
at
I'm
all.
thinking about it.
At all. My
Yeah.
nephews, I got 2 nephews that are 14 and 16 now, or 13 and 15.
Yeah,
Although I
that's
think
the
the
age
one
right
can
there.
drive now. But this is funny too, is my brother, they've gone to private school. My brother's pretty loaded, lives down in Huntington Beach. And
Nice.
my brother grew up very similar to me, of partying and still an athlete, but and
Yeah.
his kids are good kids, really nice. One they play video games a lot, but they're not
Yeah.
really getting in trouble, and
Yeah.
he's almost mad about it in a way, he's like, man, when I was there, we were just chasing tail, that's, is something wrong? I was like, bro, your kids are so good, don't trip.
Yeah. Like, shut up, dude.
But it's
For
just
real.
funny. It's you almost can't win if you're a parent, it feels like.
Yeah, it'll probably always be like that. That's how a lot of things are. You acquire something and you always just think of the other, you know, situations or how it could be better or different or whatever. It's like you lose sight of what's the good, I guess,
For
or
sure.
whatever.
I mean, are you man, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is the idea of kids, you guys have been together for a minute now, is that
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
that's in the horizon soon?
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it probably happening probably next year
Oh
for
shit.
sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the thing with us right now is my wife, she's a real pretty serious job and she travels a lot. She's gone about 2 to 3 weeks a month
Oh
traveling.
damn.
Like a lot of fucking traveling. Like she traveled over half the year last year during the fucking pandemic. Okay.
Whoa.
So yeah. So she in her job, basically what she does is she works for a huge automotive group. Um and basically her job is when they acquire these dealerships that are not doing well at all, and they buy them and then they transform them and make them profitable and make them great dealerships. That's how it works. And she works in the finance and sales department, so when they go buy these shitty dealerships, she's a part of the team that goes to the dealership and teaches everybody how to fucking do everything pretty
Damn.
much as
Okay.
far as like finance and sales. So, and she's one of the only people that does it. So like if there's another if dealership if they buy them a lot now, they've been just they had like a record year last year. They're just fucking going nuts. But every time they buy it, like she has to go. So there's no question about that. But as far as kids go, I'm basically we're kind of both in the mind state right now that we're trying to take advantage of like this moment with both of us right now and like just work super hard and like create the best possible future for us while
Yeah.
also like taking advantage of like momentum we have now and stuff like that. Because dude, if we have a kid and she'll either not be traveling as much, which will create a conflict probably at work somehow. It'll just be
Yeah.
really tough. Or she'll be traveling so much that having a newborn baby and having, you know, the mother gone a lot, that's a huge deal. Like
For sure.
kids
For
need a
sure.
mom, dude. And
Yeah.
whatever. So we're trying to make the most of it right now and then set ourselves up, I guess, to you know, to best handle it. Um but yeah, it's definitely we talk about it all the time. So it's only a matter of time. But I'm just wanted to be. There will never be a perfect time to do it.
Right.
Um, but I think you can also calculate it and be responsible to a certain extent. You know, and
When it
that's kind
sounds
of what we're
like you
trying to
guys
do.
are both riding a pretty damn good wave right now. So it's like that's
Yeah,
also
yeah. So and also growing up, like my parents had me when they were both 34. My pretty much all my friends growing up, their parents were um, pretty much the same age as my parents.
yeah.
So growing up, I always my dad had told me this like once before to basically in your 20s, just focus as hard as you can on like your career and your passions and make the most of it. And then in your 30s, sometimes like you can make decisions like that. Um, so I've always kind of had that uh, mindset. So I've never really been the kind of guy that's like it's never been my like goal in life to have a huge family. Like
Right.
I have a bunch of goals, but that was never. I know people, for example, I went to college with. I was roommate with this girl, and her like dream in life was to have a huge family. Like
Yeah.
nothing else. She was not. She was not an entrepreneur. Like she didn't care about running a clothing brand or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
or fucking being on TikTok, like that type of stuff. Uh, her goal was to have kids with her then boyfriend, now husband, and now I think she's got like five.
Damn.
That's her fucking life, dude. And she's like 20. I don't even know how old she is now. She's probably like 26 or something. Like, so that's her thing. But I'm just a little different. But I'm not. I don't feel in a hurry or anything. I just want to. This kind of goes back to what I was saying about being cautious and responsible, I guess you can say. And I just want to do it at a time where I'm like, okay, I could do this. We could do this
Yeah.
well. And
Honey,
and
I gotta be responsible and do some TikTok right now.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
like, I gotta go
You know,
stream right now. I gotta play some Call of Duty. Can't have time
but
for
but
Jimmy
but
to
it's
be
it's
walking around.
growing. I mean, in the same sense, it's like, no, ride that fucking wave because like I don't
Yeah,
know what the exact goal is, but like you get into gig where you can make enough or whatever through streaming, like man,
yeah,
that's the whole idea of this stuff, like living for a living. Like I'm not making much
yeah,
bread like playing football over here, but dude, I throw a ball for
yeah,
my house,
dude.
like
Yeah,
that's how I get what I have. I literally
yeah,
I call some plays and I throw a ball, and so like
yeah,
that is I'm cool with not making,
right.
it'd be dope to do it in the NFL making 20 mil, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
like still it's at a point where it's doing its own thing, which is sick. But no,
yeah,
it's funny you say the thing about the kids and like older parent. Like my parents had me, shoot, I don't know. My dad is like 78 now and my mom's 68. So
okay,
they had me like 40, I'm 30. So
Yeah.
38, 48, 40 and
Yeah.
50-ish, you know? And
That was a very common thing to where we grew up. It was a
yeah,
very,
for
very
and
normal
my
thing.
mom like had always been like, don't get married early, don't have kids early. And I
Yep.
think I'm almost, because I'm not even like close to that type of thing at all, like either
Yeah.
one. And I'm almost like laughing because I think she almost like really instilled that in me, where it's like I'm
Like
gonna
too
get to a
much.
certain age where she's gonna be like, hey motherfucker, like come on, like I want some grandkids,
My
like,
dad definitely
like,
wants.
mom, I'm just listening to you,
Yeah, no, my dad definitely wants some great kids, but there's no. I mean, he doesn't like pressure it or anything. He just jokes around about it. But yeah, it'll definitely happen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really trying to get established in what I'm doing and do the best job I possibly can with it and make the most of it before I take on this enormous, like the biggest responsibility you can have, and I don't want to do a lackluster job at that and also do a lackluster job simultaneously at what I'm really trying to pursue. I think I could
completely.
get to a point where I could be established enough in my world, I guess, to where um, I could be doing a really good job with it, and things could be going well enough, and I could also have a massive responsibility. And now, even especially financially, I mean, it's a huge thing. Financially, be able to provide as much as I possibly can and every single thing I need for that kid, and just I'm just trying to set myself up for a good future. I guess it's
Yeah, no, for
the
sure.
easiest way to put it.
I'm with you. Like
Yeah. I
if
don't
when
wing.
and
I
if
don't
like
wing a lot of shit, dude. Like I said earlier, like most things I do, I like calculate and I think about a lot. Um, and this is just another one of those things. But then
when's
there
your
is another
birthday?
March 1st.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a Virgo like me. Sorry, get into horoscopes.
Dude, so actually horoscopes are kind of interesting. I don't know if I like didn't believe it or whatever for a long time, but
So
I
what are
just
you? You're a
Pisces.
Pisces. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So so my sister was always really into that. She had a big book that said
Okay.
like every birthday was, you open the page and it's like it reads all about you. And I remember growing up and thinking like, wow, it's pretty accurate, but the whole concept of it never it still barely makes sense to me, to be honest. But it never really made sense. But over the course of probably 3 or 4 years now, I've paid a little more attention to it. And I swear to God, I can meet somebody now, and I've connected with people in the recently, and I'll meet somebody now, and I'll talk to them and stuff, and I'll notice like several things where we're similar, or just things in their personality,
Yeah.
or we're getting along really well, or whatever the case may be, like pretty faster than most people, and I'll ask them straight up. I'm like, "When's your birthday?" And every fucking time, dude, it's March something. And I'm like,
Interesting.
and so that happens all the time. And I always think to myself, like, I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, that's not a coincidence. Like, this has to be a real thing. Because I can, like, I don't know. I swear to God, I could meet somebody and be like, yeah, he's in March, like every fucking time, dude. Every time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't think it's ever not been like that. It's so wild
I
to me.
don't know a ton about like the other ones, like, but yeah, me as a Virgo, like I'm August 30th, and like very. So have you done like your true? Damn, I did not expect us to go this way. But this is fucking awesome. Have you done like your true birth chart with like location, time of birth, like all of that stuff?
No, I don't know that
Dude,
information. I don't know.
you can do it for free online. There's one of the webs, it'll give you
I don't
like
even know if,
an extremely detailed one about like everything. And
yeah,
dude, I know I sound like a teenage girl right now, but that thing is so
spot on.
accurate. And like you said, there's certain little like weird compatibility. Last like 5 chicks that I've seriously dated have all been Tauruses. Like,
That's what my wife is.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
there's
It's too many instances where you're like, you have at some point you have to believe in it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's not like, I'm sure there's some hint of bullshit into it, but there's also some truth to it. And
Some,
like
yeah,
my
yeah. Some people, get
you
a
know,
little,
like
little too
anything, there's going
artsy
to
with
be a
it.
selling mechanism to it, but like
Yeah,
um yeah, my coach out here in Finland, which the last like 5-6 years I've been playing in Europe, I've been
yeah.
QBOC. And so I haven't like I've been the coach on
Oh,
offense,
see,
like which has been
that's
so
crazy.
I'm playing Madden both.
Oh, dude, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say it's like you're playing Madden. That's fucking hilarious,
Dude, and so it's fun because like
Madden
I
in real life. Holy
dude,
cow.
it's a lot of fun. And like I like
That's
coaching and
like
all
being
that
Tom
stuff.
Brady. It's like Tom
Um
Brady.
but dude, Pisces and Virgos must have a connection, bro. No, and
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
dude.
but this was like the first year I'll just be QB. Although like
Oh,
I've my coach is hella cool and um like he wants to brainstorm and hey, I've ran this in the past. I've had success with this. I like
yeah.
this. I don't like, like it's we're teaming up in a way.
Mhm.
And um but like the way he thinks and like the way like like the first couple practices, like the way he'll talk to guys and like the verbiage he uses and
Yeah,
certain little things, I'm like, damn it, I feel like it's like me coaching. And I'll
dude.
go over and just hang out with him, like, and his wife and his kids, and we're super similar in like all these
Yeah.
weird little ways. And I finally was just like, when's your birthday? And he was like,
Oh, you're one of
it's like
those guys.
September's 3rd or something. So he's a Virgo too.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
dude.
so you're a Virgo? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I fucking knew it. Like,
Yeah, that can either make people go, "All right, dude," or like, you never know how it's gonna go. But yeah, I know. I'm not surprised at all. We just had my wife's like best friend and her boyfriend came to visit over New Year's, and and I barely know this guy at all. I met him like once before, but we never really like, talked or anything. But on this trip, like we got to really know each other and stuff like that. And he had so many like mannerisms in the way he spoke and the like just what you said, like the words he used and the way he said it, and different interests and all these things. Like he was just like all my other really good friends. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm like, this is so weird. But I did see a lot of similarities in me. And then same thing. I'm like, we started talking about birthdays or something. Um, I think he asked me when my birthday was, and I was like, yeah, it's March 1st. And I was like, when's yours? And then he said it was like March like 20 or March 18th or something. And to myself, I'm just thinking like, this makes a lot of fucking sense. And then I'm thinking like, I'm fucking weird. I'm like, dude, I don't even know why it makes sense, but I'm just like, that means something. I don't know, because I had other friends growing up that were, March 4th, and then there's just so many. I don't know. There's too many people, and then yeah, like my wife is a Taurus, and I saw something a few days ago. I don't even know where I was. I don't even know where I saw this. Probably TikTok, but it was like who do Pisces like usually like match up with or something,
Yeah. Okay.
and I was like, what's that? So I clicked on it, and it said like Taurus and like all these
Uh-huh.
different things, and I'm like, what the fuck,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not surprised, but
Interesting.
that world's funny.
I gotta look into the Pisces because like I said, I know a little bit about Tauruses because like I said, it's like that's been so uh, if God, I can't believe we are talking about this. But if Pisces and Tauruses are compatible, then and Virgos and Tauruses are compatible, then there's probably some similarities then in Pisces and Virgos, like from
I don't know anything. I don't really know much
I don't
about
know either. I'm
anything
just kind of
else.
assuming my friends' friends are your friends, that
Yeah, yeah,
kind of game or whatever.
yeah,
But
probably. I'm sure we could find a website that says it's the same thing, or
yeah, for
you
sure,
can
for
find a
sure.
website for anything.
No,
But
that's
but yeah, I one thing I always read is like creativity is like synonymous with being a Pisces. And I'm like, okay,
mm,
that makes a lot of sense. And then are there certain types of things? I don't know. It's very, but a lot of those things, the horoscope stuff. It's like a lot of times they just say a bunch of I almost think like I guess it's like playing devil's advocate, but it's like they just say a bunch of things and then you kind of just start thinking about yourself and you're like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Totally.
yeah, it's like a Pisces is a really nice person or whatever.
Like
And you start
super
thinking,
vague. Yeah, super
yeah, and you
vague and
start
like
thinking like, dude, I was
easily.
nice. I was nice to somebody this morning.
Yeah.
Like, it's how does it know me? Like, you know what I mean? Like real simple shit like that or whatever.
Yeah, and like
I don't
things
know.
we want to see in ourselves also, like no,
True. Yeah,
I
you're like
I
happy that it told you that.
exactly. Yeah, no, for
Like, oh
sure.
wow, I'm a caring person.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
me. That's me. But no,
yeah,
you
dude.
definitely do the total birth chart cuz through
I have no idea what time I was born though.
but your dad or mom or someone knows. There
Yeah,
it's on your birth certificate or something.
yeah,
Every
it's
time
somewhere.
I do it, I have to text my mom and ask her again. But
Yeah, my
like
dad he probably knows.
yeah,
Yeah,
and but dude,
I feel
it's
like you wouldn't
because
forget that.
there's something to, and again I don't know, but like it's you have your sun sign, your moon sign, there's all these different signs, and it's
Oh yeah.
like, oh man, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like your sun sign is how other people see you, your moon
Oh, okay.
sign is like how you truly see yourself. There's
Yeah,
something, right, there's one that's like a relationship kind of one. um
that's interesting.
I've been down the route. I've dated a few that are super into it, as you can
Oh
tell,
yeah.
and so I've
Yo.
heard through us. I've kind of gotten through it with like osmosis, but I also I believe it, and
Osmosis. Osmosis Jones.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, just my question that I've been is like talking with like the streaming, the clothing brand, the whatever, like what's your ultimate goal, like where are you trying to get, like what are you trying to get, like because dude, you
Yeah.
it feels like you can do whatever you want in a way, like
Yeah. I think my number one goal, I guess, would be to be just established like as myself,
okay,
and be able to, I guess people would call it a content creator, but
yeah,
whatever. It's just to be myself and do what I love. I mean, that's the American dream, right? It's to be able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, how you want,
yes,
But so essentially that's pretty much it. But I would love to just be myself and do what I love, and also but have an audience big enough to where I can have partnerships and fund financially my life. You know what I mean? But to yeah, to do like streaming, for example, that type of stuff, and creating content and YouTube and that whole world. I love that world of creativity, um, and just not having a boss or any authority above me, anything like that. Um, I just love that. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I
so
mean,
kind
it's
of
definitely possible.
a combination of everything, it's not like it's not
Yeah,
just to be streamer, not just to
not at
do,
all. Yeah,
it's kind of that little,
I just want to be Rob and be known as somebody who is what however you see me, um, and just be this you know entity which is myself. It's weird to even talk about. Like I've never really like had to put into words,
yeah,
but
I
just
think
be
it's
myself
important.
and do what I do and create a community and bring people in and just have fun. Most importantly, just have fun. That's always been my thing. And I absolutely love trying to help people. That's always been something that I've always people say that all the time, but I know genuinely that's really how I am. Is like trying to help people and inspire people because that was a huge thing. Our fitness company was basically a motivational company. It wasn't like it was fitness, but like I never looked at myself as like a fitness guy. You know what I
uh,
mean? I just was a guy that was trying to help, and a lot of stuff we did, and a lot of relationships we built to our supporters and everything was through us genuinely helping. Like I would call random people that bought stuff and like talk to them and whatever, and people would DM me like I had some crazy DMs from people. Like one guy, I don't even know, like it's kind of nuts, but he was like about to take his life,
wow,
which is wild. And I'll never fucking forget this. I'm down in the kitchen, and my wife Brittany's in bed, and I'm about to go up to bed. I'm like eating dinner or something. I like just finished up, and I got this DM, or somehow I check my DMs because I don't even get notifications for DMs. And I check my DMs, and I had this thing from this guy, and he's like, "Yo, I'm going through a crazy time right now. Like, I think I'm about to end it or something." And I'm like, I'm thinking like a lot of things are going through your mind. You're like, first of all, now you feel this insane amount of responsibility.
Right.
Um, and then I'm thinking like he chose to hit me up over anybody else. And then and now I'm handling this situation, trying to help him out. Turns out now he's doing great and everything. But I'm doing that, and the fact that he's doing great now and stuff is like a huge thing to me because I never forget that. And I don't know, just dealing with huge situations like that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like people have over the years when I started that whole brand and myself and stuff, I've always wanted to be known that I'm there for people and I'm actually in this with people. I'm not like just some guy like getting like getting some big numbers or something and just kind of not even paying attention to anybody else or caring if who actually is watching and that type of stuff. So I've always tried to do a lot. Like for example, when I stream, I make it a point every single time I go live that I'm down to play with whoever's watching. And that is like an
Okay.
incredibly rare thing. But I didn't even know that was rare until I started noticing other people only playing with people on like Sundays or something, or only playing with people that like subscribe to them, which is money. You have to pay like $5 a month. Like whoever, if
Okay.
you pay, like I'll play with you. And since the jump, not knowing the rules or whatever, how how people usually do stuff. Since the jump, I've been like, yo, if you want to play, like get in here. I don't give a shit. So I've been trying to like include everybody in everything, and it's paid off, substantially. It's been I'm like known as the guy that like you can play with and like really interact with and like that type of stuff. And it's totally authentic because I really want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm
That's
not trying to like,
sick.
I'm not like, yo, I should try to be a dude that like seems friendly or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I want to talk to you guys. Like when I stream, I make it known that like I'm here to talk in the chat. Like if I'm playing a game and something happens or somebody says something in the chat or whatever, like um I'll I'll just like stop playing the game to read whatever they say because I'm playing a fucking video game. Like I don't really. I'm here for like those people. And I make it known. I make it known that like I'm streaming right now to talk with you guys and whatever. And the gaming is like secondary. You know what I mean? So I've developed a brand to where I'm now that kind of guy, and people know that they're can actually have like a genuine conversation with me. Because I join a lot of people's streams and they just they won't even look at the chat for a long time, and most people think it's like 100% about the gameplay, and like you got to be sort of good. Like I'm pretty good at Call of Duty. I'm not gonna act like I'm a bum or anything. I'm pretty good, but it is if you're not paying attention to your community, it's like, dude, you just don't really get it. You know what I mean? Especially if you're
Right.
starting off. It's like that that's everything. Without those people, like you don't even have a fucking stream. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Exactly.
and the same thing with all other social media. It's like if anybody's showing you a bunch of love and stuff, it's like, dude, you gotta, I don't know, just make it known that you give a fuck. You know what I mean? In like an authentic way.
For
Um,
sure. I mean, hey, with that though, how I mean, because dude, now with like 100,000 plus on TikTok and shit, like hella comp, like dude, comp. I mean, when I get one that blows up, like I take the same like, I got it from like Gary V of like respond to everybody. Like if someone's
yeah,
consuming your stuff, like respond to every. And so, dude, even with like I get one video that blows up every month if I'm lucky. Like
yeah,
I feel like today all I was doing was fucking on my phone. Like does that shit ever overwhelm you?
yeah. I feel very overwhelmed by a lot of that kind of stuff almost on a daily basis.
Okay.
To be honest, that's a real thing. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't. I think it's because it's a lot of kids. Um, but a lot of people don't expect me to respond at all.
Ah,
So So I'll go through comments, and if I spent all day responding to people, I would imagine a lot of people would be surprised that I even said anything and whatever. So one thing I do, so I guess what I'm trying to say is no one's waiting for me to reply. It's almost like like I hope he does, but no one's like counting, like expecting me or like counting on me to reply. And if I
Yeah,
don't,
it's like
no
a
one will know.
bonus.
Yeah, it's like whatever. So one thing I do now is I'll go through the comments, and if I see anything that's like um I don't know, that I feel like I owe this person a response or something, or they ask an actual good question. I guess that's a better way to put it. They ask a good
Yeah.
question that, like, I could provide value to or something like that. I'll respond to that. Um and yeah, but yeah, having all that in my head, that goes back to the whole anxiety thing, dude. It's like it's just this world is crazy, man, because there's so many different components. It's like every social media platform is a whole different like world, pretty much. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
there's a bunch, like if I open up TikTok right now, there will be 50 new things to do. Like
Yeah.
if I wanted to, I could easily, literally be on it for an entire day, and there would still be more. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, so at some point, I need to be. You have to. You can't fucking do everything. That's pretty much it. But on Twitch, it's like I can really let these people know, because you're live and everything. You can really let them know how much you care about them, and how much you actually enjoy their presence and that type of stuff. But on TikTok, it's a whole different it's a whole different thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little more selective on um it just goes back to who asked like a thoughtful question and
Yeah.
that type of stuff. If I can tell you really took the time, or maybe you asked something that's a little more, vulnerable or something, that I don't mind responding to that and trying to help those people out. But I get a lot of bullshit messages on Twitter, and people asking me to do favors for them and stuff, and they don't even like follow me, right? Like they'll be
Yeah.
it's just weird shit. And a lot of times I just delete that. I'm like, dude, I cannot waste my time on this. Like person is not somebody that I'll ever have a connection with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Or
you
care
have,
for. It doesn't matter.
yeah, you have that like inner compass or like inner gauge or whatever on someone's authenticity or what, and then like it's
Oh, right
all,
away.
my
It's so
my
obvious.
hippie ass, like with vibrations and shit and frequencies and like,
No, I believe in that shit.
if someone isn't like comes across in the message like, man, I think I can get it through messages a lot of the time, like, and
Yeah.
if it's not on the same, like, I don't need to, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need to deal with that, like it's,
Right. No,
I'm with you
you
there.
definitely
It's
know.
it But it's cool to hear the, like, what you said about, I mean, kind of the Twitch, just the whole brand idea, kind of personal brand idea, or, whatever you want to call it, is
Yeah.
like a big thing that I'd like to, like, I'm trying to do with this in a way. And so it's
Yeah.
like, like I said, I don't know what my audience is. I'm just trying to always just keep it as real as fuck, like not lot,
Yeah.
not put on any mask or anything
Yeah.
when I
It's
think
very, dude,
yeah.
that's very obvious with your content too. I mean, I don't think there's you watch one thing you do, and it's like you can tell that. So
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And so it's like being able to get those little random messages here and there, like, they're cool. It's
oh, dude, it's the best.
and you've kind of, like I said, right before we got on here earlier in the day, I mean, I'm 10 hours ahead of you. Um, I was looking at Twitch and like I set it up, like downloaded the Twitch stream app or whatever
Oh yeah.
thing that you need to do it, because
Yeah.
like I'd like to get just get it going with that of, you know
Dude, you could totally do it. It's not.
just talking
Yeah.
talking to people and shit, man. At this
Yeah.
point now, living in 7 different countries including the states, and like within the states lived in like every region, like, I don't know, I think I got a pretty unique perspective on shit, comparatively
Hell yeah.
speaking. and
Fuck yeah, dude.
and being
And
able
by the
then to then to be able to get motherfuckers from all over into one place and
Yeah.
create this, kind of like
You do
global.
like a travel like Q&A, and like
Yeah,
people are
just
so interested in that stuff, dude. Like
for sure.
I can even see it right now because you put out YouTube videos that do well. Like you put out those vlogs that like blew the fuck up.
Yeah, the Nepal stuff went crazy.
Yeah. So you do that, but like maybe the next maybe every YouTube video that goes on from now, even like maybe your podcast episodes and that type of stuff. In the very beginning, once you're like comfortable with Twitch and using it and stuff, you can be like, yo, like if you want to, I do Q&As on Twitch or something, like come hit me up sometime. And they could follow you right before the video starts. And now you have that same audience watching your YouTube videos already following you on Twitch. And then, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you gotta connect the stuff, dude. That's how it is.
for sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
you gotta do it in the beginning. A lot of people shout out all their shit in the end, but most people, you're gonna have like 20% retention at the very end.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
you got 100% in the beginning. So if put stuff in the beginning of stuff is huge. That's why a lot of TikTok tip. A lot of times you want to put like basically say what's about to happen or something like in the very beginning, like or in the very beginning of a TikTok, you could, for example, you could be like, dude, I can't believe this just happened. And then you go, yesterday, I went to the store, you know what I mean? And so people are like, can't believe what just happened. Like, I got to watch this fucking thing. But if you just start off and you're like, dude, I went to the store yesterday, like no one's watching that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to like
hook.
the hook them in, baby. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
dude. I mean, I'm glad. Like I said, you got the game figure. It's like it's a weird thing because, like you said, you're calculated, but at the same time, it's completely authentic. But there's
right.
There is like a weird balance to it in a way, but
for sure.
It's how you just start the story or whatever. And
yeah.
And
there's definitely like the foundation of like or basic like marketing advertising principles, I guess. But like, for example, if you watch me do a video that's like 15 seconds long or something, I had no idea how I was gonna act in that video. Like if I have any certain mannerisms or whatever I say or how I act in it or whatever, like that's all on the fly. That's who I am. Like I'm not like, yo, when I say this word, I'm going to try to like enunciate it louder. You know what I mean? Because that stuff is clear as fuck. But people do that shit. People really do that shit. But the person you're seeing today on this podcast and like how I look and how I act and whatever, it's like that's who you're going to see on Twitch. That's who you're going to see on TikTok. And enough people nowadays are have realized that to where that's becoming my thing. And like authenticity's it's my thing now. It was my thing in the past. When we started that fitness brand, we started because this is like kind of makes sense, but like there was so many brands that stood for nothing. Like there were so many brands that had no message. They were like all just cornball designs. They were all like, suns out, guns out shit. And I was like, dude, no one stands for fucking anything in this industry. Like nothing real. No one's really trying to help. They're just trying to like look dope so they can sell like a protein or something. I'm like, dude, we should make something because it stems from me actually giving a fuck about people and that type of stuff. And I'm like, we need to make something like that actually has a message. Like nobody has a fucking message. They have these stupid ass websites because all these bodybuilders don't actually know how to graphic design. They just try to wing it. They have no idea. I've been graphic designing for over 10 years. Let me do that. Like, that type of stuff. And then we started that up. And the whole time since we started that brand, it ran for like 5 years. Our thing, but my thing specifically was being real, being helpful, trying to inspire others just to do better with their life. And yeah, and that was who I am and who I've always been to the core. And that brand was just showcasing that, because the word gunsmith, that was the brand's name. The motto was build yourself into the ultimate weapon. So it's pretty much so it's like instead of being I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll just use TikTok. It's like instead of just being on TikTok, like learn all this shit and grow as much as you can on the platform instead of just being another fucking dude on the app. Like, why aren't you like, or whatever you do in life? Like, if you're a teacher, like learn the best ways to educate people. Don't just be
Yeah.
a fucking teacher. Like,
Learn a little
if you're an athlete,
psychology. Learn the
yeah,
ins and
like build
outs.
yourself
Like
into the ultimate fucking teacher. You know what
for
I mean?
sure. No, dude, like I had that epiphany big time when the Nepal vlogs finally kind of started to pop
Yeah,
because I had like battled, I'd done, like I said, the shitty GoPro videos. I'd probably done like 20 or 30 of those before I'd gotten the G7X literally like a week before I went to Nepal.
yeah,
And I don't really know what I'm filming. I mean, there's so much cool shit in Nepal that like you can film anything and it's gonna be
yeah.
cool.
Right.
And that's
Well,
like
and
a
probably nobody
positive.
else is doing it. I would imagine.
Yeah. And then I was with my like best friend who's Nepalese, and like that connection of an American guy being homies with a Nepalese guy in
It's
Nepal is
interesting.
like there's
Yeah.
not another that you could search YouTube and there's not the
Yeah.
same that like dynamic. And but like I think I released like 4 or 5 of them, and they like all the vlogs got like couple hundred views. And then I can remember, this is ironic because I said like earlier when you're like this is the one, like normally that's not the one. But I can remember like I was also on a little bit of LSD too, but that's different. That's partial. But like I'm
Right.
editing, and like this the song edit, like just everything just lined up, and it was just
Yeah.
like, yo, this
Yeah.
is the one. But with that one, I was like, how can I kind of do like a clickbaity title? Because
Mm,
before I never tried to do anything like I didn't want to be a YouTuber per se,
yeah.
like I didn't want to get that label or whatever. And so I never tried to like label anything too crazy. And so for that one, I labeled it, that video was Poor Country, Rich Heart, which I'd gotten from like a
Mm,
Nepalese friend who had said that's like the
yeah.
motto, or not motto, but like an idea when like in poor countries, normally
Yeah.
people have the biggest hearts. And so
Right.
the
That's a catchy
combination
title
of
because,
everything
yeah.
that got people in the comments, because some people didn't really like that being the title. And
Yeah.
but then it got people defending me,
Right.
like Nepalese people defending me because no, it's really a compliment.
Yeah.
And
That's
but
the beauty of having a legit community, dude.
yeah.
That happens,
and
that happens
and
all the
and
time.
so but it ultimately, like after that, I was like, okay, let me look into thumbnails, let me look into the analytic. I'd never clicked on the analytic button, I'd
Yeah.
never. I mean, still I'm just kind of getting back into it now with like going back, and some, maybe like some views will be down, but then I get on a hour podcast solo, like I'll get 20-25% retention all the way through. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's so maybe I'm getting less little just bullshit clicks, but more people are sticking around for the whole message. And
Right.
like just playing the game, like it's like fuck, it is a game in a way. So like,
Dude, I tell people that. I talked to this one dude who lives in South Carolina or North Carolina. He's one of my best friends. Literally talked to him this morning. Like, he's like the only person in my life that calls me. Everyone else is like text and Instagram and shit. Like
yeah.
he calls me. Like, he actually wants to have conversations. It's bizarre. um, but we talk about YouTube and he's a big time YouTuber. He's got like 20,000 something on YouTube, and then he's got like 20,000 on Twitter. And like he's legit full time content creator,
Okay.
and he's an awesome guy. But we're always talking about like clickbait and things like that where you don't want to do it because you don't want to come off as like grimy. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
don't want to be that guy. But then I always try to tell him, I'm like, yo, you got to realize like this whole thing we're in right now is a game. And if you're not going to play the game the way it needs to be played and the way, if you're not going to become the best player at the game, much like
dude.
a literal video game,
Yeah. I
like
mean, and there's a
you need
difference
to realize what's
between
about to happen.
like there's a different like it's a game, so you might as well you might as well learn the rules. And there's a difference between like doing some bush league shit and
Yeah.
following the rule, and like sticking to the rules. And like, yeah, being grimy
Right.
is like the, unwritten bush league type shit in baseball
Yeah.
where like, yeah, you don't want to be that guy who's known as,
Yeah.
like
There's definitely a way to
whatever,
go about it for
you
sure.
know?
Because you can if there's no malintent with what you're doing, it's like it's fine. But some people will put like, the thumbnail will be like, "We broke up" or something, and then you go in
Yo,
the
God,
and then you
yeah.
go into the but you go into the vlog, and it's like there's nothing even about a relationship in this vlog. Like you did that to straight up just trick everyone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you suck.
Yes.
But you can come out with a YouTube video where the title is like can be a little could be intriguing and maybe a little exaggerated, but it's still like in the video and whatever, and people will care way less about the clickbait if you actually hit on what you sort of talked about in the title. You know what I mean? But if it's like
100%.
straight up just false or wrong or whatever, then you get a lot of comments like fuck this video and a lot of thumbs downs and like, you know what I mean? That's a real thing, dude.
Yeah, and those
Probably because I'm the one commenting that.
dude, I know.
No, I don't do that shit. No.
I'm laughing too because like I'll watch I hate that I watch and I hate that I kind of like this podcast, but I've started to watch the Dave Portnoy, Josh
Oh,
Richards
I've watched every
one.
episode of that.
Dude,
Yeah.
like I can't
BFFs.
sometimes I gotta fast forward through a certain guest or
Yeah.
whatever, like
Yeah.
it's hard. But like I've literally commented on it, like I was like, because in the beginning Josh has to read like, hey, like and subscribe to BFFs, like
Yeah.
he's reading it off of a script, you can tell. And I'm like, bro,
He's a
this guy
professional
can't just
TikToker.
fucking say that, like. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm one of those fucking hater commenters,
Yeah,
like,
dude. No, I've typed out and deleted several things. I think it all comes with I'm 30 years old, man. Like, what am I doing? But another thing I think about too is like, because I'm trying to have a YouTube presence. So like, if I type out some bullshit, and they go to my channel, whatever, like their first impression is that, and yeah, I don't know.
that's
There's a
true. I
quote.
guess
There's
I've
a
never
quote
thought
too.
about that where like you can because sometimes a good comment, you're like, let me see what this guy, if you can tell it's like a YouTuber, not just like a
Yeah,
consumer, you're
yeah,
let me see. And
yeah.
yeah,
But if you become the guy that posts some bullshit on every YouTube video, then it's like, and then like if Logan Paul or something posts a vlog and it gets like 10 million views, and I leave a comment that's like some bullshit, now his community could fuck my whole channel up. You know what I mean?
right.
Like you gotta be really careful about that kind of stuff. If you want to have a future with it, it's probably not the best thing. Or you can do the opposite, where if you really support something, instead of like uh just feeling that way as you watch it, like leave an actual genuine comment, and a lot of those people may go to your channel as well. It's like definitely an advertising. That's why you go to, like, you see these big ass Instagram posts from random companies or whatever, and all the top comments are like, there's a bazillion, not from a company, I guess, but you can put like if Justin Bieber posts something, right? The first 200 comments will be people with blue checks, and every
Right.
comment is like a couple emojis. Like those people are, it's called coattail marketing. They're only doing that so they show up in the fucking comments. They don't give a shit about what he just posted. They're doing that because they're at the fucking top, and you're gonna see their shit. Now, when you go on Instagram later, maybe tomorrow, you're probably going to sleep after this, but when you go on there and you see big posts, you'll see a bunch of bullshit comments from popular people. That's the only reason they're doing that shit, and I'm convinced. And you can't tell me otherwise.
No, you're totally, dude. That,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense now that I
But
think
YouTube's the
about
same
it.
thing. You go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, everything. You just look at the comments and you could tell if it's a real comment, if it's, whatever. But But yeah, it's
I've
real tough.
I've recently like I maybe like 2-3 months ago, I literally unfollowed everyone. I was at zero follow just because
On what?
like what'd you say?
On what?
On Instagram.
Okay.
And just because like I was getting the I wasn't getting to see
Oh yeah.
people I've really wanted to see, and so and then also ended up just like, I'm kind of bullshitting on it, spent, like it's during quarantine lockdown time, like
Oh yeah.
my little 5-minute, 10-minute breaks between editing would turn into 20 to 30 to 40, and so I was like, let me just try something. So and I think like Goggins has zero, he follows zero
Oh
people. I think like I heard
yeah.
some video of him talking about it and I'm like, let me try this. And so I did that.
That's
And
funny.
now
I didn't even know that.
now I'm like crazy selective with the people that I'll follow. I think I follow 9 people now. And
Oh
dude,
really?
yeah,
Damn.
it's so dope though, because like literally every time I log on, in like 1 or 2 swipes, I get the, okay, you've seen everything.
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Like, like I get that. And then like also
That's
no,
funny.
the main reason I did it was
Yeah, I'm envious of that for sure.
all of the stories is like I would end
Mm.
up watching stories and just next, 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 like
Yeah.
clicking through them. And I'd end up like finishing, do it for like 15 minutes, not having consumed anything. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and be self-control and not do that.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking machine, it's a smart brain, like they know what
Yeah.
they're doing. And I
Oh,
was like, okay,
facts.
I just got to take myself. I didn't want to deactivate because I still like the messaging. I still want to put some of my stuff out. And so, yeah, now it's like just become super selective. And
That's
dude,
good,
getting
dude.
that little notice of like, hey, there's nothing left to see. You've
Yeah.
seen it all, is like, all right. And then there's 5 stories at max. I gotta, it's like,
Dude,
okay.
oh fuck. I wish I had that for sure.
Yeah, like it's a good it's been, and I'll probably slowly keep following more, but like
Yeah.
it's been like a good little reset, you know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah. The whole concept of that is you I wish everybody could just have that. You know what I mean? That kind of
Yeah, I
goes
mean,
back to what we were saying about when I first started on TikTok and people were following everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's the same thing. And now people are really seemingly very selective about who they follow and
Yeah, and
whatever. So
Instagram is like, what, 8 years, 9 years ahead of that. And so it's like
yeah.
to get a follow on Instagram nowadays, a
Yeah.
random one, like I got like 4 this week from I don't know where, and I'm like, what? What's wrong? Like what? Why? Like
I
I'm
get some
almost
follows. I get
skeptical.
some follows up top, and I'm like, I genuinely think I'm like, I wonder if they purposely did that. I'm like, why would the fuck would they follow? Who is this? You know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, just so it's such a weird psychological thing now that we're saying. I'll check
Dude.
their, if they're public, and I'll see, all right, who do they follow, that because now that I don't follow anyone really, I don't get that little thing that says like who we have in common, because I don't follow anybody.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
No,
and
yeah.
so I'll go into their followers or followees or whatever and be like, okay, how did they how did I get to their page?
Yeah.
Like
Right. Yeah.
like
Yeah. It's like you become like a detective or something. No, that's a real thing. It's super funny when you do these little weird things like being a detective, like being a detective or whatever,
yeah.
and then you find out that like a lot of people do the same thing. Like it's like a common thing. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen a meme that pops up where it's like it's so specific that you thought there's no way anybody else does this, but then it has like 200,000 likes of people like, I do that shit every day, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I thought for sure, like it's such a bizarre thing. I don't know. I'm always
Yeah.
blown away by that kind of stuff, but yeah,
No, with all that followers and stuff, I mean, it's, hey, part of the game, man.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
It's a
still
big game.
like I finally also, because I'd had it while we're on this subject. I'd had like the follower tracker or whatever, so if like
Oh yeah, I
someone
had that too.
unfollowed me, I'd get to
Yeah,
see who it was. And then
right.
I would be a guy that like, oh, you unfollowed me, I'll unfollow you if I really don't like you, like that was
Yeah,
also part of the reason I just went zero, was like, shit, some of these people I'm only doing it because it's like this weird little mutual thing. And
yeah. I know
and then
exactly what you're
but
saying.
now that I like, when someone follows me now, it's like you see my count and it's like like 1900 to 9, like,
Yeah,
motherfucker, I'm probably not following you back, dude, like
yeah,
there's and so then someone will unfollow me after whatever, and I'm like, what, like I'm almost like, what was the point of that,
yeah, yeah. Dude, that's something that made me very anxious for a long time. Little things like that when I would see somebody unfollow me or whatever, and, you start thinking like, well, I start thinking like, why? Like, what did I say? What did I do? Whatever. Like all these
Yeah,
thoughts run through your head and stuff. And it could be not. It could be a very simple thing. It could just be I straight up just, I don't know. I just want to unfollow people or whatever, like the case may be. But you come up with all these scenarios in your brain, and all of a sudden, like, another person unfollows you the next day that you thought you were friends with, and you're like, dude, like that kind of weird shit like eats at you, but it also eats away. Now that I'm thinking about it, it eats away at the time in which you could be working on yourself and I guess things that matter. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like in your life. But it's like some people get so consumed in all these other things where the time of their day just goes away, and then 10 years down the road they haven't really done much. You know what I mean? So I try to eliminate a lot of that kind of stuff, and like I don't use that app anymore. And
yeah,
when I
I
made
just
this,
got rid of it like last week or 2 weeks ago or something.
yeah, and when I made this new Instagram back in April, my first thought was like, dude, I'm gonna make this like super personal. And for about 7 months, I don't think I actually followed anybody.
Okay.
I okay, so I followed people, but I didn't follow them first because I didn't want anybody to feel obliged to follow me back. Because in
Aha.
town, there's a lot of people in town that I know, but I'm not friends with. Like I'm not friends with. Like we're not gonna text or whatever. I just
Hmm.
know a lot. It's a small town. If you work out, you know everybody else that works out. You know what I mean? In this whole fucking town. So, but I know right now I could follow 60 of them, and they would all follow me back because it's like, yeah, well, I have to follow them back, like whatever. But none of us are really into each other, or like you don't really care about each other. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like to the core. Like
yeah.
I hope they do well. Obviously, I hope everybody does well, but I don't really care about what they're doing or anything. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna. I
It's
don't want
not
to
that they
act
have
like.
cool content either. It's like you're just
Yeah,
doing it
yeah,
because I know ya, or
yeah. You feel like you should.
Yeah,
You feel like you owe these people something or something for some reason. So what I did for a long time is like if somebody followed me first, that showed me that they actually want to be following me, and I would follow them back, and it's all good and stuff like that. But I didn't. It was almost a test, I guess, to see who is actually interested in my shit. And a lot
yeah,
of people around here never followed my new account, which is great. I don't care at all because, like I said, I'm not really friends with them, so it doesn't really. It didn't matter, like personally, because I know personally who I'm friends with. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I did that for a long time. That was an interesting test for sure. But I saw a lot of people carry over from my old Instagram that was pretty big. They carried over, and the people that actually wanted to follow me and stuff like that, and they still show love and support. And I have a way smaller. I think I have like 1,700 followers or something right now on Instagram. And my profile was private for a long time. Like I wasn't trying to grow it. It was like,
yeah,
and I posted like anything, and I still do kind of the same stuff to this day. Like it doesn't fit a certain niche or anything. It's really just like my life, and that's like
yeah,
the path I've wanted to go down. And I've posted photos of like I don't know. I posted like a photo a long time ago of like my dog. I've never posted that on my other profile because I'm trying to like entertain people, and it's like my Instagram was for them. and now my Instagram is for me. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
yes.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I was at a point after first starting this where, like, for example, my old Instagram account would get like, like thousands of likes, right? It would be a lot of likes, it'd be a lot of engagement, all that kind of stuff. And that would also affect me, right? If you don't get enough and that type of stuff. But now I got to the point now with this new Instagram account where I could post a photo, literally get 27 likes, and to my core, I can 100% say that I did not give a shit,
Yeah.
like at all. I didn't care if anybody liked it. This is my photo. This is something about my life. If you want to like it, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. That's my life. Like, that's it. I'm not doing this for anybody else. And I literally would get like 40 fucking likes on a couple photos, but I like these photos. I like what's going on in them, and it has to do something with me, and whatever. And it's like the likes are not. I'm not doing this for that anymore. You know what I mean? And it brought this like peace of mind that, like, I don't know if a lot of people have experienced it, but going from, I guess, what I had before to this is, I guess, it's pretty rare, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's hard to experience it. But now I'm at a place now where I'm just like super good with Instagram, and like from a psychological standpoint. And I'm just really grateful that I wound up at the spot. But like my page now, it's just 100% me, and I'm glad I could start over with that. And now everybody that follows from like Twitch or whatever are all there 100% for me, and that's pretty much it. So I'm just, I don't know. It's interesting for sure. So
No, and this like conversation, like I've never, I mean, I'm sure I've talked about it in like little bits and pieces, but never at like this like broad from one, literally
yeah,
like almost every avenue we've kind of talked. And like a lot of people, I think myself included, that's why I haven't done it, don't want to admit this type of shit.
yeah,
It's real, and like the
yeah,
psychological dopamine, serotonin, whatever the science behind likes and
yeah,
views
yeah,
and all that stuff is. But when you were saying that, I just had like this weird little epiphany because I would say most of my posts on Instagram, I've treated it like a diary, or like I
yeah,
used to do with a picture. I'd have a long, I mean, like maxed out caption on it, and it was almost like a diary journal kind of thing.
yep,
Whether it was good, I tried to just be authentic. If I was feeling like shit, you don't like to post as much, but I'd at least, if I had something, would go that way. But I caught myself in like, I'm thinking, as you said, I don't care if it got 27 likes or whatever. And I'm like, damn, like I can think of like maybe one or two, whether it be a video or a picture, that like I think I still probably care that it didn't get the normal amount of views that I did. But then
yeah,
I'm like literally analyzing this as you're talking. And I'm like, but shit, I think for those ones, I wasn't really posting them for me. Like I was
right,
posting them because I thought they would do well or whatever,
yeah,
but because the ones that I'm truly posting for me, if it gets less than whatever, I really don't care, because it's
yeah,
like I look back on it and I'm like, yo, that was dope. But when it's one that like, oh, this is, other people should like this one, and then it
yeah,
doesn't, it's like,
right,
like it eats at me from like this weird competitive, like weird psychological competitive level. And that's,
yeah.
I realized. So thank you for that. As you said that, I'm like, ah,
Yeah, dude.
shit.
No, it's a real thing. Yeah, I've told people a lot that being vulnerable and talking about vulnerable things is like the most, it's always the hardest stuff to talk about, right? But it's also like the most powerful thing to talk about.
100%.
Because a lot of the stuff too, and I've found that the vast majority of things I talk about that like I feel maybe a little insecure about or something like that, every single time it seems like I've ever, you know, been courageous enough, I guess, to actually speak about it publicly, there's been a reaction where it's more people than I expect, and but they'll hit me up and they deal with the same thing, or all these
Mhm.
people deal with the same thing, and they thank me for being the person that said it because no one else is really saying it or something like that. So now it's like I almost find enjoyment in being vulnerable because I know there's so many people in this world that what I'm saying is probably relatable to at least one person. You know what I mean? And when they thank you, like genuinely thank you, you have a conversation and you could talk to somebody about something, it it's just incredibly fulfilling. You know what I mean? And that kind of goes back to the other stuff I was saying earlier about just helping people and being there for them and
Yeah,
whatever.
man.
I
I
just
mean,
I just love
w-
it.
we get brought up on like at least the kind of old school approach of like, you don't be vulnerable because it's like a sign of weakness. And like in reality, it's like the true sign of strength. And like
Yeah.
being able to
Facts.
admit you cry or you feel shitty that it only gets 27 or whatever it may be, that's those are two kind of ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum. But like it it is the ultimate, because then once you admit it, once you put it out, like it's like, I mean, I'm stealing Gary Vee's shit right here, but like it's like the 8 Mile thing of like his last line, he talks all the shit about himself and now no one has any shit to talk to you about because hey,
Right.
I I got it all
Exactly.
out. You know everything about me. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Like I'm still gonna be me. I'm still rocking, and you
Yeah.
can't fuck with me now because what you're
Right.
gonna say something like inse- used to be
Dude,
insecure about
this
my big nose or like or being skinny or whatever, and like you own that shit, and
right.
then it all like I mean, there's a psychological level too of like when you're super insecure about it, like it almost gets commented on more because of, I mean,
Yeah, you just see all the comments.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, dude, the other thing with the insecurity thing I learned in the last couple of years, um, January of 2019 for like 3 months, I was kind of working out, training, ended up creating some content at this like NFL combine like preparation facility down in Orlando at Disney.
Okay.
And so we had like 20, 30 dudes getting ready for the league. Pros were coming in all the time. And like that age of like 20 to 24 is incredibly like an insecure time where you're still figuring your shit out. You just get out of college, and then on combine it with like guys getting ready to make a ton of money and being in the
Oh yeah.
spotlight and like not kind of thinking they have to be a certain way. Like I made some really cool friends there, but also just got to witness like, this dude, whether it's a all pro wide receiver who came in and worked out, like this dude's insecure as fuck. Like even even this guy who's like
Yeah.
one of the best, that dude was insecure. And so like fuck, if these guys, I mean, that guy's got millions in the bank. He's on TV, like if that
Yeah.
guy's insecure, then I don't stand a chance if like it's a competition, like if we're on,
Right.
but that's not how it is. It's just how you are and how you feel about yourself. And so I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
if these guys can't be it, like I'm never gonna get to their level of this football workout. Like, but I feel better in my own skin than I think they do at times. So like
Yeah.
it was just this huge
It
switch
brings a
of
lot
how
of
I
peace to
viewed
everybody.
in like vulnerability, insecurity, and like just self-confidence of like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm fucking me. And like
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, like it's it was
Yeah.
a
It brings a
cool
lot of peace. It
experience.
brings a lot of peace to you to listen and, you know, consume people's content or be around other people that bring up, that they're not perfect, I guess. Cause I think a lot of that stems from people trying to chase perfection and you see things in yourself where you're like, I'm not perfect. And then you're like, you stress out about being perfect and stuff like that. And then you see people that are really successful, or you think you have to be perfect to be successful. And then you see people that are successful and they are you know, have these clear weaknesses and tell you about them or in some way. And it definitely, I think it's inspiring to learn about that from other people that, you know, you may not think they struggle, and then you find out they struggle, and you're like, wow, so I can still make it even though I'm struggling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
I'm not the only one. And fuck it, dude. I'm gonna tell the story because at this point we're in it. Those 10 percenters, they get a reward. And I don't know the guy super personally, but the dude I was saying was Adam Thielen. Like he came and worked out with us for
oh
like
shit.
2 weeks. And like one of the hardest working, like most like
Yeah.
scripted out, like impressive workout guys I've ever seen. But I mean, outside of pads, he looks like me and you. Like he just looks like
Yeah.
a guy,
He's
like
not like
no
DK
one
Metcalf.
thinks, like, and so he comes in and it's all, like dudes that look like dudes for the most part. And um who was in there on the bikes? It was PJ Williams and who was Chris Rainey, the old running back from
Oh
Florida who
yeah.
was like playing CFL. And
Yeah.
Rainey's like, he's big talker, like, like kind of, I felt like he was a little, over talking kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Thielen comes in and um Rainey like ask him like, "Oh, are you a quarterback?" Like Rainey thought Thielen was like a high school quarterback or like a quarterback training for the combine or whatever.
Right.
And the guy's like, Thielen just like, "No, I'm a receiver," like super like subtle.
Yeah.
And PJ just like taps him. He's like, "Bro, he's like one of the best fucking receivers in the league," you know? And like Rainey was like, "Oh shit." Oh, like totally switched up. But then
Yeah.
with all of that, like when Thielen would introduce himself, he would introduce himself to people, at least I heard it a few times, as Adam Thielen. "Hey, I'm Adam Thielen."
Oh.
Where like I don't, in normal like conversation, I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, I'm Joey." Like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna in that little world, but I read it. This is totally my perception of like he felt a certain kind of slighted way because I'm sure he'd
Oh
gotten
yeah.
that little Chris Rainey story throughout his career that like, hey, I need to like let these motherfuckers know who I really am. And when I like heard that and really started to think, I was like, damn, like it can affect everybody, man. Like
Oh,
it can really, it gets to everybody.
for
And
sure.
I mean, he was cool as fuck. Like I remember he walked in and like I had to like triple take. I was like, oh, I thought the same thing as Rainey. I was like, oh, I wonder who the new like D2, like quarterback or whatever is. And then I kind of like looked and I heard him say, "Hey, I'm Adam or Adam Thielen." I like, what the fuck? Like,
Wow.
cause it was just unexpected. He was in vacation for like 2 weeks and working out there at the
Yeah.
same time. And the funniest dude in that little group, Charles Jones, who I think he was like practice squad Pittsburgh this year. He was like,
Okay.
"Man, Adam Thielen looks like he works at Chase Bank, bro."
Dude, he does. I mean, he does look like a normal dude. You know,
And
human dude. But
especially outside of pads. Like you see him just,
yeah,
I mean, because I mean, I loved it because I relate to that to the max. Like I've had
yeah,
literally, like when I went to North Dakota and started my first games there, we're at the bar. My buddy was like, "Hey, I'll introduce you to this girl. Hey, you were at the game today?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, this is Joey. He's the quarterback." She turned around, went, "Yeah, right." Like into my face, bro. So like I
dude.
I I I had such an appreciation for the, because I'd been that guy, like I'd
Oh
never been
yeah,
able to pass as a football guy outside of pads,
yeah,
but you throw on some pads and a helmet and I got the swag, like it's just how
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
is.
dude. Yeah, yeah. You always got the visor on, right? Don't you? All that kind
I
of stuff.
used to, yeah.
Oh,
I've
okay,
ever since, dude, I'm 30. Yeah, ever since I got out to Europe, I haven't been rocking it, but
okay.
it's
You
I
still
could
got
see a
it.
comeback. I could see a visor comeback looming. I've
Let's go,
lit-
baby.
if you could take like a picture of me from like JUCO at 20 years old, and like every single year as I've played, I like lose one piece of swag. Like the
Uh,
longer I play, like by
yeah.
the end, I'm not even gonna have socks on, and like it's
1 2 bar.
too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, because it used to be a thing, but I mean now, nah. I'm contemplating. I'll probably shave the beard for the season, but I'm
Okay.
contemplating going with the Favre Rogers just one strapper because
Oh
like
yeah.
my helmet fits really good. So like a chin
Yeah.
strap's almost. I don't even wear a chin strap in practice right now because I don't get hit,
Really? Oh, that's
and
true.
so I'm
The one
contemplating
strap.
just going that old school because
That'd be
I'm
kind
not
of sick.
like 30 playing at 30 as an import in Europe is like old. Like there's been guys who've done it longer than me, but this will be like year 6 or 7.
Wow.
So
That's wild, dude.
but I think I got another like 5 years in me at least. So
Let's go.
and until it's not fun, until it's not any,
Yeah.
but we'll
Well, Tom
see.
Brady, he's still going.
Dude, I mean, you see the Rogers, Brady, I mean, I,
Yeah.
those guys are an inspiration. I mean, they got a little bit probably better training staff than I can get, but and
Yeah.
chef's table. But hey, I'm not going to use
Everything.
that as an excuse. I'm also
Yeah.
not getting hit by fucking Indomitian Sue. So like,
Facts.
it's a
That's a good
trade
point.
off,
Yeah, dude.
like
Tom Brady's wild. I think he's almost like what, like 45 or something.
something, dude. It's the
I'm even
Rogers and
sore these
Brady.
days, man.
The average age of that game for quarterbacks is 40. That championship game coming up.
Wow. How old's
Speaking of that, I mean,
Rogers?
hey, let's cover this and then let's call it a day because I mean we're
Okay.
flowing, but like I as long as the conversation goes, I like to let it go because fucking
Yeah, it's all
might
good.
as well. Um,
Yeah.
you got any predictions or anything? I know you're a Ravens guy, and so
Yeah.
that was
Worst
tough.
O line play I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
that was tough, but and with Lamar getting hurt, like once he got hurt, I was like, oh, it was over.
Oh, for sure, dude. Once
But
Tucker was missing field
what
goals.
what are your predictions for the rest of the playoffs,
So it
or
comes
what
down
do you
to
want?
Mahomes. It comes down to Mahomes pretty
Yeah.
much because I think he'll play no matter how bad his concussion was. I think they'll just put him in there. But if he's like healthy, I still think the Chiefs are just a ridiculous team, and I think they'll win. I think the Bucks actually do have a pretty stacked roster, and people saw that. When the season before the season started, they had all those pieces and stuff. I think they're finally like firing.
Yeah.
And when those guys play in a big game, like they got some big time players that have played in big games, and that makes a big difference. But at the
And
same time,
their defense is playing
so
good
do the
now
Chiefs.
too, finally.
Yeah, but but at the same time, the Chiefs have all. They won the Super Bowl last year. They played in huge games, so I think Chiefs Bucks, and um, but
Ooh,
I
so
just
you
think
think Bucks are gonna take Green Bay in Lambeau this week?
yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
It comes down to a field goal. Put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think the Chiefs are going to win it. I think they're just so ridiculous.
Okay. And then
It's like
but
a
what
video
if,
game
if
roster.
so then if Mahomes isn't it, you're just not gonna bet against Brady?
I think, dude. Oh shit! It's in Florida, isn't it?
Dude, yeah. It's
Okay.
in Tampa Bay.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, Bucks are winning it for sure.
Bro, if I mean
and COVID doesn't exist in Florida, so they're gonna have that place packed.
exactly.
They're gonna
It'll
have that
be
place-
full house.
Yeah. So yeah. Fuck. All right. I guess we'll say Bucks. I didn't even think about that. God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just realized it like yesterday at practice we were talking about it, and I I personally like the football side of me. And I've been watching the Pat McAfee show like on every Tuesday. He has Aaron Rodgers on for like 30 to 40 minutes, and like
Yeah.
throughout the entire season, Aaron Rodgers has just become like my fucking guy, like just through
Yeah.
these little, snippets. So I think there's a little bias towards it,
You
but
just like him. Yeah, you're just a fan of him.
and so I I think the Packers are going to win it all, but like that's like the strategic football guy in me, but like the true football fan in me wants Tom to win it
Yeah.
because that's a legacy that probably will never,
Oh,
like,
no way.
we will be able to be 80 years old telling our grandkids like, but he's not Tom Brady,
Right.
like,
Yeah. 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 It'd be cool to see him win on a team different than the Patriots. Still,
exactly.
so
Like that creates just an entirely different like narrative to his
it really
story
does.
that
Yeah, that easily cements him as the best. I mean, I think he's pretty much already the best, but that
yeah.
there's just no debate
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean,
So
yeah, he has twice as many playoff wins as any other Hall of Fame quarterback right now. I mean, dude's
yeah,
played for 20 years, so it's like, but still,
that's
that's
with like a
like,
shitload of bye weeks too, because like they had so many playoffs where they didn't even play the first round. You know what I mean?
yeah, true,
Where they would have won, right?
true.
So in reality, he would have. I don't even know how many times he's been in the playoffs, but he would have like, well, I don't know, 12 more wins or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he
So,
he has 32 playoff wins.
dude, Lamar doesn't even have that many wins
I don't know, like
at all.
it's insane. Like I've been playing, my record in Europe now is like 47 and 6 or 7. Like I've done well out here, but then to hear that he's played 32 playoff games, I was
Yeah,
like, whoa, dude, like
that's
what
wild.
but
He's the goat.
it'll be good. No, and then I have like the one guy that I kind of got close with in Orlando, or the main dude. He plays for the Bills. He's like third, fourth receiver, Gabe Davis, rookie.
Okay.
And so like the Chiefs are fun to watch too, but so like there's no matter, I feel in a good spot from like a rooting factor, because no
Yeah.
matter who does it, I just want them to be good games because I'll be happy for everybody. Mahomes
Yeah.
would then repeat and he might start some new legacy, and it's good
The
for
Bills
football.
would be kind of cool, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
We'll see what happens. Not really sure.
Brady just would be sick.
That
The
would be
goat.
sick.
But
Yeah. I like Tom Brady a lot as a person. So
me too. Me too.
yeah. I
No,
think it's
it's
funny.
it's good. But shit. Alrighty, brother. Let's call it a day. We're at
Okay.
almost 3 hours. This will be the longest one we've done, but
Oh
I'm
really?
stoked, man, because
Yeah.
we covered everything. I appreciate the shit authenticity in just
Yeah.
this interview or podcast, whatever we call it, and in
Yeah.
general. It's been inspiring in multiple little avenues of, like I said, with the TikTok stuff, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, dude. Dude, likewise for sure, man. But
And
yeah,
until next
today
time.
was a ton of fun. I love doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, until
Well,
next time. Let me know.
let's I mean, I don't know. We'll figure out once cuz dude, I want to start doing the Twitch live stream thing,
Yeah, dude, just hit
and
me up. I can
we could
definitely try
figure
to
out something.
help you navigate through all that stuff. It like looks complicating, but it's pretty for what you want to do. It'd be pretty simple, I
Okay.
think. So
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
For sure, man.
Okay, dude.
I'll definitely probably have a couple questions here and there,
Yeah.
because I know, like, I like how
YouTube, baby.
the
Yeah,
the computer up there is working.
yeah, yeah. Let's do it. I'm down.
Alrighty, brother.
All right,
Until
dude.
next time. Peace.
Take it easy, bro.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?